Praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of His Son Yahushua HaMashiach. John 5:39, and then we're going to deal with something that D asked me last week. I'm going to see how y'all feel about it before we go into it. It's a relevant question that a lot of people ask. I know somebody that we all familiar with for the most part, that he on that type of time. A lot of the people up in New York are definitely on that type of time. So it genders a lot of questions when it comes to that particular matter. So we're just going to delve into it and see what we get from it. Go ahead, man.
Where we at?
John, come on, man.
It's for the people.
Man, come on.
Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they will testify of me, and you will not come to me that ye have life, might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that ye have not the love of Elohim in you. I am come in my Father's name, and ye receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him ye shall receive. How can ye believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that cometh from Elohim only?
All right, cool. Now this is what she asked me. She asked me about the use of what commonly referred to as profane language or cuss words. And I want to know how everybody in here feels about your personal feeling about using those particular words. We'll start with that big head nigga right there. That one. I'm talking about, I don't say what you think people want to hear. I'm talking about how you feel about the uses of the word. Do you feel it's right? Do you feel it's correct? Do you feel it's wrong and unkempt? Using profane language, 4-letter words. Another word for fornicating or excrement, things of that nature. Now I will tell you the word damn is not classified in that. It's usually the context of how people use it. Because if you say, when the master walked by and cursed that fig tree, technically he damned it. And you actually, if you know the word, you're not supposed to be damning anything because he told you to give blessings and not cursings. So you shouldn't be around here damning anything in that aspect. If you use the word hell, contending on the context that you use it, you're actually referring to the grave. That's what the word actually means. You also use it in the context of somebody going to the lake of fire, but most people use it out of context. You know what I'm saying? But those words by definition are not cursed. Huh?
Yeah, you can though.
I mean,
for the S word.
Well, I know the S word, but do anybody know the history of the word? Because there's a history behind the word where it comes from.
It sounds more appropriate for what you're talking about, honestly.
No, it comes from something else. It actually comes from the transportation of manure. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's where the word came from. It's an acronym. You know what I'm talking about? That came from having sex under the king's authority from some people. You know what I'm talking about? But the cold context is, just wait till I get to the point, because I told him already. Just wait till I get to the point. How you feel about it, though? Yeah. Certain words that you should use or not use. Okay. Go ahead, Darius.
Say
like it depends on the form that you use. All other words are, suspect.
Go ahead, Stanley.
Yeah.
Man, the European languages, man. I mean, I wouldn't do it for a non-believer or a Gentile in faith just to keep peace, man. Keep the European language or the European definition, bro.
All right, cool. Go ahead, Callie. Okay, you can go ahead before we get to him because you sitting right here. Because I should have started with Joel. I just felt like messing with him.
How I feel about it personally, I think how I used to feel about it before I was in the Word. I didn't think nothing, but now that I'm in the Word, I feel like it said a lot about your character as far as using cuss words, because it just shows your lack of ability to use other words in your day-to-day sentence structure.
Now I say for me, right? I never cared. Because me and her had that conversation. I used to use them for emphasis. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you drop the words at the right time, boy, it makes your sentence hit 1,000 times harder. I didn't tell you no lie. You know what I'm saying? Also, for me personally, though, my vocabulary was a lot further along than my peers. So, you know what I'm saying? I did interweave my vocabulary with my cussing, so it kind of took the blow up out of it. But you didn't want people around you to think that you thought you were better than them because I just chose to read. But the main thing, I like to cuss. I cuss like a sailor. You know what I'm saying? And then, they were like, hey, man, you shouldn't talk like that, especially in what you handling. So
I didn't get no delight out of it. You sound like
I enjoyed it. You know what I'm talking about? I did not mind. I'll drop an MF on a nigga in a heartbeat. You know what I'm talking about? It was nothing for you to hear 17 consecutive cuss words in one sentence. You know what I'm talking about?
It's not nothing to be proud of, bro.
I'm just saying, I didn't have to talk like that, but I like to talk like that. And like I said, for emphasis, boy, I'm talking about, boy, you drop that good cuss word at the end of a sentence, boy, nigga feel like this here when you're done. And comedy, oh man, y'all know some of your favorite comedians cuss like a sailor.
That's the emphasis aspect. I
You
feel
better
that
know.
emphasis aspect.
Go ahead, what?
I mean, my personal opinion, though, I don't see nothing wrong with them, is that because what they actually mean in this society, if you're dressing this way, you shouldn't use them. That's not good, right?
Go ahead, Muffin. I remember I used to try to get little Muffin to cuss when she was little. She wouldn't do it. She said those are bad words.
Bad word, Wayne.
Well, come on, Shayla, because D finna escape.
Bad word.
Well, you could give us your point, D, before you walk out the door. You could give us your vantage point before you walk out the door.
I don't even know what we're talking about. I do, but I'm just gonna leave.
I think that's something else.
I was never a big customer. I spelled it out, but I never said it. I was like, what the F?
I don't see.
I never felt comfortable actually singing the word. But, you know, when I got mad, I felt like it was straight.
All right, go ahead, Mom.
I think it's just context. Some words, she probably should have never known.
Go ahead, dog.
I used to personally relish when I got hurt, so I saw them as a poetic way of expression. But I had to grow up, and the understanding that I have now is like, they're not necessary, and even though they're not necessary, and so for other sensibilities, it's just like, if they're not necessary, you're just being bullheaded about using them if you.
All right, cool. Titus 2:1. I'm gonna work to a point, then I'm gonna ask everybody a question. You know what I'm saying? And we'll see how you feel about it in that question after that question is asked. After Titus 2:1, get me 1 Timothy 1 about 7. Now I have to run down a couple of these epistle letters before we get to. If I ask the question now, it ruins the whole point. I ain't tell you no lie, boy. I ain't mine, boy. I looked up one day and realized I ain't cuss no more. I cuss a lot. That's why people be turned off. They may walk across them dudes in the middle of the street and they be cussing. Because people don't equate that with a godly person. Whether justly or unjustly in their assertion, they don't equate that type of language with a godly person. People just feel like the Father and the Son wouldn't use that type of language or wouldn't speak that way. Like when she asked me about it last week, I'm like, there's not an equivalent in our language to words of that nature in the European language. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I know of. Y'all may know of, so I don't know of any that equate to those words.
They probably wouldn't. It was probably slang, if anything.
Just like what you call a female dog, like that's an actual word. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, of course you wouldn't be incorrect because that's what a female dog is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in this society, people are not calling. There ain't nobody walking past calling no female dog that. I mean, it is, but when I'm talking about in this society, no, that's not being used in that context. It's really, when it's used in this context, in this society, it's to be derogatory to a man, and you saying that this man has feminine characteristics.
Yeah, if you say it to a man, that's
When a woman say it to a woman, it's like them calling each other a nigga.
yeah.
But usually when it's used in this society, nigga trying to say use a whole hoe out
Yeah,
you.
but if a man said that's because it's already derogatory because it's toward the female. So
Shoot, it's derogatory when a woman call you that. Don't no man want to be called
that's what
that.
I'm saying when a man get caught. That's what I'm saying.
Shoot, yeah. Boy. I used to hear niggas in the chain gang call each other that. I say, well, y'all niggas, wow. Like that's how them young niggas were talking to each other, and dudes had to pull them to the side and be like, men don't talk to each other like that. Them fighting words, you might say that to the wrong man, and he knock your grill loose. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't see nothing. That's how they kick their game with each other. That's how they rock with each other. They talk to each other like that. You know what I'm saying? And they had to check them like, you're not finna talk to me like that. I'm a man of respect. You're not finna talk to me like that. And they couldn't understand why other dudes was tripping, because they were used to kicking it with their friends, talking to each other like that. You know what I'm saying? F nigga, all that type of stuff. I'm like, boy, y'all boys is on a whole nother level of which I cannot partake in. Go ahead, man. You want to participate, D? Would you like to participate?
What was the framework of this conversation?
Huh?
I said, what was the framework?
Just how you feel about those particular words, your personal vantage point and perspective.
I feel how Stanley feels. Right.
Go ahead, man. Titus 2:1.
But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged man be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith and charity. And
that word for sound in Greek in this particular verse means health. So he's telling you to speak things that pertain to a healthy doctrine, things that pertain to health. I think it's Psalms 105. Can you grab that from me, please? 105 and 2. Make sure. It is not Psalms 105 and 2. It is Psalms 103 and 2. Psalms 103 and 2.
It says, blessed be Yahuwah, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgiveth all thy iniquities, who healeth all thy diseases.
So we know that he heals all of our diseases. Because if it's sound doctrine, it's going to heal your disease. We talked about last week what the disease was. The disease is sin. You know what I'm saying? Now, are we going to go as far to sit back and say, oh, you sin if you use a particular language? We're trying to get to a point. Now, let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7. Because he said, speak those things that pertain to sound teaching. He was talking about the older men, that the older men should teach things that are healthy. Go ahead.
It said, desiring to be teachers of the law, understanding neither what they say nor whereof they affirm. But we know that the law is good, and if any man use it lawfully. Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and the sinners, for the unkadosh and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers.
Go ahead.
For whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for perjured persons.
Perjured, meaning somebody who lies.
Perjured persons, and if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine.
Now he just put it and said if there's anything contrary to healthy teaching. So we say, because we already know that the word talks about not being a liar, not stealing, not being homosexual, not being blasphemous, not being a fornicator, all these things. But then he threw in here anything that's against healthy teaching. Now we have to look at this particular aspect. Which direction I want to go with this here? Give me Isaiah chapter 64, man. Probably about verse 5. I got to work it a little different than what I told you. Make it 7, I suppose. No, Isaiah 64. Pick me up about verse 6. And after Isaiah 64 and 6, 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 16.
It says, but we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags. And we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities like the wind have taken us away. Mm-hmm. And there is none that calleth upon thy name that stir up himself to take hold of thee. For thou hast hid thy face from us, and thou hast consumed us because of our iniquities. Mm-hmm. But now, O Yahuwah, thou art our Father, we are the clay, and thou art our potter, and we are all.
Now, we talked about that last week to show them that Yah is a man. But he said, if we are his father, what does that make us? Let's look at 2 Corinthians 6 and 16. Then. Now, who off the top of their head know what Proverbs 22 and 6 say?
Train up the child
and they won't depart from it. Now just keep that in mind. Shalom. Hey, go ahead, man. 2 Corinthians 6 and 16.
It says, and what agreement have the temple of Elohim with idols? For ye are the temple of the living Elohim. As Elohim have said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, says Yahuwah, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters.
So you would be his children, right? And that's the thing he's talking about the aged men. Now I'm going to ask every one of y'all who have children a question. Those very same words, would you teach them to your children? Would you teach your child to use those words in a particular sentence right now as we speak? Because if you wouldn't teach them to your children, then why would you use them? The reason why we're using this example is because of this. Let's look at John 5 and 16. Because if we his sons and daughters, does not Psalms 82 and 6 say, ye are gods and sons of the Most High? Did not the Master tell us to be thee like your Father which is in Shamahim, and be ye perfect? So we looking at the example that the Father set with his son. Because he said, train up a child in the way that he should go, and he won't depart. So if we look at that, I wouldn't teach my son right now at 2-3 years old to talk like this. But yet you'll go over here and talk like this. Because if you can go over here and do this, then you should be able to teach it to your child. If you say that you a son or daughter of Elohim, because Elohim teaches his children everything that he does, and everything that he says, and everything that he knows. He doesn't keep nothing from them. They say, oh, I can't teach you that, son, because it's wrong. I don't want you talking like this, but I'm going to go over here and do this. He don't operate like that. Let's look at John 5 and 16. Look what it says.
And therefore did the Yahudim persecute Yahushua and sought to slay him, because he had done these things on the Shabbat. And Yahushua answered them, my Father worketh hitherto, and I work. Therefore the Yahudim sought the more to kill him, because he not only had broken the Shabbat, but said that Elohim was his Father, making himself equal with Elohim.
Go ahead.
Then answered Yahushua and said, verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he sees the Father do. For what things soever he does, these also does.
Now this goes what we're talking about. This also goes how it's important is what type of example that you set for your children. Because he say what the Father did, the Son do likewise, because the Son does everything that the Father does. So if it's something that you doing that you don't want your children to do, or it's something that you feel there's nothing wrong with it, then you should teach it to your children. You know what I'm saying? If we feel like ain't nothing wrong with using no particular word, then sit your son or daughter down and teach it to them and let them use it. You know what I'm saying? How many of us would teach our children, go ahead and cuss, son. It's not a big deal. Because if you feel like it's not a big deal, you should teach it to your son. Do you know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't say nothing about it if you felt that way. Go ahead and teach it to them. Let them be 4-5 years old, cussing people out. How many of us would teach a small child to use that? Because when we see people on videos on Facebook, you know, giving little kids weed or teaching, you sit back and you look at why you doing that child like that. That's the first thing pop in your head. That ain't right to teach that child that. Then why participate in behavior that you wouldn't feel comfortable to teach a child? I know a brother was talking to me about that this morning, and he was like, well, a brother came at him saying on a different matter, well, I wouldn't teach my child how to have sex. Well, eventually you'll have to teach them about sex because they have to know about it, because they have to know what it is and when not to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? You're eventually going to have that conversation with all of these children about sex. You just can't magically act like that doesn't happen, and they're not going to have that experience. Eventually they're going to get older and somebody's going to pressure them to have sex. They don't know what it's about. How are they going to be able to defend themselves?
You can make an argument with the same thing with cussing. You eventually will teach them because that's what grown people do.
But at the same token with sex, there's no age the way you say you can't talk to them about it. We feel like you can't talk to them about it because we're uncomfortable with having that conversation. You know, but what's uncomfortable about cussing? That's not an uncomfortable conversation. That's just language that you feel like you don't want them to use, so you tell them not to use it while you use it at the same time. That's hypocritical. You know what I'm saying? That's no different than my granddaddy telling me not to smoke cigarettes, but he got 3 packs of Newports in the back, smoking like a chimney. And then if I grab a cigarette, he chastised me for it. Well, you smoking them in my face, so you tactically telling me it's nothing wrong with it because you doing it. Why you getting that mad at me for doing it? But I'm saying, but that's the example you're setting.
Yeah, you're too young to do it.
But you know what I'm saying? But who's to say I'm too young to do it?
I'm telling you, you're too young to do it.
But why are you doing it then?
I feel what he's saying, man. But that's like one of his kids walking in the room on him. I mean,
I'm grown.
he can do that.
Hey man, child can have sex, you don't need to get married. And you ain't able to do the things required to get married, so I guess you can't be able to pull that off.
But he's saying that's not a conversation he feel like he should have to have at that age.
You're gonna have to have it eventually. My point is your child can have sex if it's done in a legal construct. So that's not hypocritical. It's hypocritical to tell this child, you can't talk like this, but I can. Yeah, because you tell them you can't talk like this now, but you can talk like this later. Why they can't talk like it now if it's acceptable language? If there's nothing wrong with that language, you by saying they're not old enough to do it, you are actively admitting this is not acceptable for you to do.
I mean, I'm not saying me personally.
I know what you're talking about. I'm talking about the situation.
Say with smoking
Yeah.
cigarettes. Niggas say it's all right to smoke cigarettes when you get to a certain age. That's what your, like how you said, your grandpa was telling you. I'm smoking cigarettes. You're too young to smoke cigarettes right now. When you get of age, I'm gonna buy you a pack.
But see, why set that? I get it, but why set that? Why set that example? But the cussing thing a little different because you saying in your mind,
I mean,
not your mind, but I'm saying you saying in your mind.
For people who feel like cussing is okay, because like my pop, he used to cuss like several young. When I was
Yep.
young, he told me not to do it. When I got of age, he didn't care that I was cussing.
Yeah, and most grown people feel that way. I understand that, but cussing and cigarettes two totally different things. But we use them based off like the answer that was stated. If you don't feel like it's wrong language, then why wouldn't you teach it to your children?
I'm telling you, people have.
Okay, but I'm saying, but I understand that revert argument. But if you say I don't feel like these words are wrong, then why wouldn't you teach it to them now? Why do they have to wait till they're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old when the father taught his son everything off the rip and didn't hold nothing back from him? Which we're going to read in John 15. The master told his apostle, I didn't hold anything back from you.
You gotta wait till niggas of age, you know what the book says. Niggas still on meat, you can't feed them meat.
What he talking about? He talking about his forth and spiritual things. Talking about don't give, but that's not meat. That's just language. You can't compare the two.
No, I'm saying that as a symbol.
But you can't even compare the two because that's language. Because there's actually nothing beneficial or profitable from that language if you taught it to them. I can't even compare that to being milk and meat because these are choices, usage of words. So if you feel like the choice of usage of these words, there's nothing wrong with it, then conversely, why wouldn't you teach it to them?
Certain people do though.
If you're going to do it, then do it. But don't say, I don't think this is right language for a child to use, but it's acceptable for me to use because we talking about language. You know what I'm saying? Now, fourth is like smoking cigarettes. Yeah, in a natural sense, no, son, you can't smoke these cigarettes. But at the same time, it's hypocritical because you're telling me to do as I say, but not as I do because a child is watching what you're doing. That's why he said everything the father do, the son do likewise, meaning I was watching him. I emulated his behavior. He didn't just tell me something, he showed me something, and therefore I emulated what he was doing. So
I kind of can't say it's hypocritical because if you tell them you can't smoke a cigarette right now, you gotta wait till you.
that is hypocritical because if you telling me not to do something, why are you doing it? Don't tell me don't drink alcohol and you drink alcohol. Don't tell me not to use drugs and you use drugs. That's a hypocrite. It's true. I know a lot of people.
If you tell them algorithm you can't do it right now because you're too young, that's not being hypocrite.
Because if you telling me you can't do it because I'm too young, why are you setting that example? Why are you setting an example that I can't follow you when you my hero and I look to you and I'm going to follow what you're doing and you're telling me don't do what I'm doing, just do what I say? That's hypocritical.
That's not what he's telling them. He's telling them you can't do it right
That's the same token. I done seen people parent tell them you can't smoke no weed. They 15, 16 years old. Mom Duke's in the back getting greased. So how are you gonna tell me not to do something you're doing and that it's wrong and it's not right and that's the same way when we used to tell them gents don't sell rocks. But we selling rocks. How can I tell him not to sell rocks and I'm doing it? Those words don't hold no weight. What I'm saying is those words don't hold no weight because your actions are not consistent with what you're saying out of your mouth. Because you're telling me not to do something that you're actively engaged in.
What if you look at it like, let's say when it comes to the word, like Levitical priests couldn't teach till they got of the age of 30. Or something like that. It's not saying it's wrong, but you have to wait till you get his age.
But that's the precept he set for that. And that's only for one tribe. You know what I'm talking
I'm
about?
just talking about the concept of you have to wait till you get to this age to do what I'm doing.
You know what I'm saying? But I get you on
I was a
that.
Levite. I'm like, Father, I want to do
But
what you're doing.
I get
He
you
said,
on
son,
that.
you can't do it till you get of age.
But I get you on that. But it's not just of age, because that's a duty and a job. You know what I'm saying? That's not an action. That's just a duty or a job. You know what I'm saying? If I'm sitting here telling you, I got that bottle of white yak, I'm finna get off, but son, you can't drink none of this here. Well, daddy, why can you drink it and I can't? And most of us know what that led you to do. You wanted to sample it. Because the person you was looking up to was doing it, would cause you to get yourself maybe pierced through with sorrows that you ain't had no business getting pierced with.
I mean, my father didn't say that. My father drank a lot. He told me you're not old enough to drink this yet. When I got of age, he handed me a glass.
You know what I'm saying? But my point is, if I'm going to do it in your face, then I ought to be able to give it to you because of the example that I'm setting before you. I should not do something in front of my child that I don't want him to do no matter what age he's at. If I don't want my child to drink, then I shouldn't drink in front of him. Because I'm telling him by my actions that this is okay. He doesn't have the framework of, I'm too young for this. He's looking at daddy doing it, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? You looking at it, it's okay because you're doing it. I didn't want to smoke no cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? But when my granddaddy caught me drinking this Smirnoff, he beat me for it. But I'm like, nigga, you sitting here every day drinking 3-4 bottles of this.
I just feel like it's leisure and necessity.
Yeah, you don't have to drink, you don't have to smoke.
It's leisure over necessity. That's all it is. Like drinking, smoking, cussing, all that's leisure. Like you don't have to do that. Everything else you have to do. That you saying that come with age.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you gotta look at it. Cause cooking, driving, all that stuff is age sensitive. Can't be like, oh, I'm in here cooking. Of course, your 3-year-old not gonna be able to go in there and take nothing hot out the oven, but they see you do it. But they have to wait till they old enough to be able to do it. That's leisure, but you gotta cook, you gotta eat, so it ain't like you're not a hypocrite from saying they not old enough, but they're not old enough. But at the same way,
I smoke marijuana, it's right. They tell these kids you can't smoke right now. Wait till you get a little bit older.
But get who?
But that's what he's saying. That's wrong, though.
Yeah.
He's saying smoking is wrong, so that doesn't count. You have to cook. You don't have to smoke.
You don't have to smoke.
You don't have to drink.
I mean, some people think you have to smoke.
That's the key word what you said. They think. So that's their personal.
We're talking about the whole thing.
No, but that's it. But okay, but my point, my whole point is this.
I see, but when he was saying
We talking about setting an example.
Yeah.
Don't do something you don't want your child to do. Your child should be able to do anything you're doing at any given age. Based off the example you're setting, based off what we read in the Master saying about his own father. Everything the father did, the son does likewise. That means I can walk in and follow this example. He said, be ye like your father in Shamahim. That means that I should be able to emulate him. There's nothing that the father does that say, son, this is what I do, but you can't do it till you get to this particular point. He doesn't do that. So if we're saying we want to be like him, then we need to follow the example that he set with our own children.
So if one doesn't look at cussing as wrong.
If you don't look at it as wrong, then my point, teach it to your son. If you won't teach it to your son at 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, then why are you doing it? Because if it's not wrong, then you should teach it to him.
it's a lot of people who don't believe that, but they do though. Like they let their kids do it.
They let their kids.
People, I know that cuss around their kids and their kids because they don't get punished.
And for them doing that, I wouldn't even have nothing to say about it because you taught it to them. But my point is you saying it's cool, but you won't teach it to them. So by you not teaching it to them, you are tactically acknowledging it's not cool. I don't want my son talking like that. Why not? You talk like that. And we're talking about language and communication. So you should want your child to communicate the same way you communicate.
At whatever age.
At whatever age. You know what I'm saying? Like if you put a book in a child's face or you give them a dictionary and say learn these words and add them to your vocabulary, and then you're telling them they can't put these words in their vocabulary, why can't they put them in their vocabulary if you use them? I done seen people that feel that way on the opposite side. That you smoke cigarettes, get that baby a cigarette there, you smoking in the house around them. You smoking in the car with them, they inhaling it anyway, why won't you give them one? You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't want my child to smoke, but he take it in smoke. You know what I'm saying? That's just my whole point is, if we say we following Yah, then let's look at the example he set with his son and then follow suit. You know what I'm saying? And if you feel like that proper, shoot, cuss up a storm. Make sure them children here don't chastise them children for doing it though. Cause you know you got some people knock their children clean out. They around here cussing. Why they around here? I can't stand that MFO stink mouth nigga. Go ahead, keep going.
We're at 2 Corinthians 7. What was we at?
No, I don't think we was at 2 Corinthians 7. We was in John chapter 5, sir.
So we at John chapter 5, verse 20. It said, "For the Father loveth the Son to show him all things that himself does."
See what it says? It said the Father loved the Son. So if you love your children, you're going to show them everything that you do. Let's look at John 12:45. It said this, like people can do what they choose to do, but we're just looking at the framework of the example that was set on high. And are we going to follow that example, what he said? Because he said the Father loved the Son, showed him everything that he did. He didn't keep nothing from him. After we read this, what is it? John 12:45, we swing to John chapter 15 and verse 16. Because remember we talking about, he said to speak those things that are sound doctrine or healthy teaching. If you feel like cussing or smoking cigarettes or drinking alcohol is healthy teaching, then by all means. If you feel like that's not something healthy to teach your child, and the book says that we're supposed to speak things that are of sound teaching, and if anything is contrary to sound teaching to speak against it, then you have to look at, is this healthy? Is it healthy for a 5-year-old child to drop F-bombs? Is it healthy for a 5-year-old child to smoke cigarettes or drink back a whole bottle of Remy Martin fine champagne cognac? You don't like Remy Martin fine champagne cognac? What did you like? I like Remy Martin fine champagne cognac.
I wasn't sure.
I don't believe you. You look like you like Coors Light and natural ice. Hanging out with girls who drink King Cobra. That's a base of beer. I'm just clowning. But then you see a nigga with a King Cobra and a Magnum, that's a base of beer. I know Darius said not King Cobra.
Yeah, I know about a natty.
Yo, you said a natty don't mean a base. When you see that nigga with that King Cobra or that Magnum, oh, but see 211, that nigga alcoholic. Nigga got 211, that nigga a drunk. You know what I'm talking about? My homeboy killed him 211, that nigga a drunk. She ain't lying though. You know another one? Catch a nigga with a 4 Loko. You dealing with a drunk.
Or a jit.
What? My homegirl used to kill them 4 Loko, be around here running like a racehorse. It borderline, because that's a malt liquor. That's what them old niggas like to drink. Because they remember Billy D. Williams. You know what I'm talking about? See, Billy D. See, y'all too young to remember that they had malt liquor commercials. And Billy D. Williams was in the Colt 45 commercials. So they tried to get the smoothest black man they could find and say, go and get your Colt 45. You know what I'm saying? Then they had St. Ives back in the day. So you had Ice Cube. You had Ice Cube talking about he a Muslim trying to sell a nigga St. Ives. You got Wu-Tang Clan talking about Peace God, talking about come get your St. Ives. Snoop Dogg had a St. Ives commercial.
Hey, you stop.
St. Ives was like a flavored malt liquor. It was big in the early 90s. See, because you know 40s don't get sold in Florida. They get sold up. No, they don't sell 40 down here. You can only buy a quart. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they were selling St. Ives. That's why, oh yeah, man. That nigga, St. Ives was a classic hip hop drink. They said, well, you wasn't drinking no St. Ives. St. Ives was like a Zima for niggas.
I thought they did sell 40 now.
I know in Jacksonville they don't. You can only buy a quart.
I was saying not in Jacksonville.
They be selling them though. They be selling them in them stores on the road though. I done seen them like between big cities, like in them.
Yeah. Because from what I've been told, they ain't supposed to sell 40s. But I know everybody. I know in Jacksonville they don't sell them.
I was saying Jacksonville they don't. I know I bought a couple of these.
Look at you. You were around here drinking 40s. 40 bigger than you.
Bigger than your head.
I could imagine seeing D with a 40 in her hand. What you would drink? Old Lincoln. She would drink like a what? And then she around here drinking OE. D out here drinking OE. Oh man. Don't try to tell her try to act like a lady. You had a straw in that 40. He walk around here with this big old bottle with a straw in it. I'm a lady.
Breath smell like death.
Say breath smell like death. That nigga stupid. Scrolling on the phone. I can see her too scrolling on that phone with a 40 in her hand. And a blunt in her ear. And a blunt in her ear, cussing everybody out. Y'all nigga, you better stay around here from around here. I'm trying to get right. Y'all around here raining all that noise. But yeah, King Cobra, that's a base of beer. Get a quarter beer for $1. Go ahead, man. Get you no base of beer now. You finished John 14? 12? You ain't finished John 12. We in John 12, 40, 45. Go ahead, Doc.
Profane language or
Mm-hmm. Say that again. What I'm saying is my
we limit it to profanity or what?
Or expletives. My thing is it's not just with the profane languages. Is that any activity, behavior, period. If you wouldn't want to teach it to your children, then don't do it. Don't participate in it yourself. If you feel like it's just for you to, and you will teach your children, then I may not agree with it, but I wouldn't necessarily say nothing against it because at least you're being consistent in your application. You know, it's the same token. Like I used to feel like this coming up. A grown woman would wear weave, but she wouldn't put the weave in her daughter's head. Now, not anymore. That's why I say when I was coming up. Now it's different. But I'm saying when I was coming up, they'd be like, no, I ain't putting no weave in my baby head. And that didn't make sense to me because your actions are saying it's cool and the baby want it and you won't give it to them. Now, they don't care.
You couldn't get a perm to use.
Yeah, the perm was the main thing.
Even with that, niggas wait till they child was going to a hair developer, then they put weave in.
Well, now they not waiting no more.
I'm talking about back in the day. That's what they would do.
Well, I would say, but I can speak in the 80s and 90s. Niggas weren't wearing no weave like that, and the women who were, they wouldn't put it in their daughter's head. They was like, no, I'm not putting that in your head. You know what I'm saying? It was mainly just perms. Like they had to wait to a certain age to get perms, and then as we got older, more and more people started wearing weave because it wasn't I don't recall nobody in the 80s and mid-90s, early mid-90s wearing weave, but a handful of people. You know what I'm saying? It was like the late 90s as we were getting ready to graduate from high school that they started wearing it more and more. By the time 2000 came, all you walk past and smell hell. That's why I never liked weed. That junk used to be stank.
I mean, because it wasn't developed. Back then, people were just wearing it because they were superstars like Tina Turner. She wasn't wearing it till the hairstyle like that. And they was like, oh, yeah, everybody wearing it.
Oh, I know because my grandma wore a wig because she didn't have a lot of hair up under them.
So, I mean, yeah, back then, it started being popular. So everybody was like, yeah, weed.
Man, back in the days, they wore finger waves and basically just perms, really. Yeah, they had, some of them had braids. But
Yeah, braids, but that's synthetic hair. So that ain't.
I always see booty braids.
yeah, they had that. Now, them doogie braids and all that type of stuff, they had that. But like the weed we see now,
Oh yeah, you talking about trash. You talking about
yeah, they had that now. But like how women like wear, like we didn't see it, that didn't go on. But like you say, that the style of the times, it wasn't where the times was at. You know what I'm saying? Because you know a lot of my peers had children early. That's just crazy because a lot of them niggas children are grown now. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, man.
Go ahead, man.
12:45.
And he that seeth me seeth him that sent me, and I am come a light unto the world, and whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness. And if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not, for I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. He that rejected me and receiveth not my words have one that judges him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day.
Mm-hmm.
For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me, he gave me a commandment what I should say and what I should speak. And now that commandment is life everlasting.
So his father told him what he should say and what he should speak, meaning his father set that example. What did he tell him?
Whatsoever I speak, therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak.
So that's what we sit back and look at. What the father taught him, that's what he did. He followed the example. John 15 and 16.
You can hang up now to avoid the charge.
It says, ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask of my Father in my name, he may give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
These things I command you, that you love one another. If the world hate you, you know it hated me before it hated you.
Go ahead.
If you were of the world would love his own, but because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, wherefore the world hated you.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his master. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you.
Go ahead.
If they kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me.
Mm-hmm.
If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had
That's good. That's
sin.
good. You know, the thing that what he said back and look at is the example he said. I'm trying to, this verse just hit my head. I'm trying to remember what he said. Come over here to Isaiah 48. Isaiah 48 and 16.
It says, come ye near unto me, hear ye this. I have not spoken in secret from the beginning, from the time that it was, there I am, or am I. And now Yahuwah Elohim and his Ruach have sent me. Thus said Yahuwah thy Redeemer, the Kadash one of Yasharal, I am Yahuwah thy Elohim, which teaches thee to profit.
He teaches you to what?
To profit.
To what?
To profit. Which leadeth thee by the way that thou should go. Oh, that thou hadst hearkened to my commands, then had thy peace been as a river, and thy righteousness.
So the thing that the Father saying that he teach things that are of gain. To which the Son say, I teach everything that the Father taught me because it's gain. It's going to be health from whatever it is that he's teaching. That's what we have to sit back and look at if we have children. That you're supposed to be teaching things that are a profit or of gain. Let's come over here to Isaiah 45 and 16. Well, I promise, boy, them children, they never got to use the bathroom like this under normal circumstances. Get them in here, boy, they all got a potty. What's going on, Zach?
Going on, bro.
Isaiah 45 and 16. You sit where you wish, sir.
It says, they shall be ashamed and also confounded, all of them. They shall go to confusion together that are makers of idols. But Yahshua shall be saved, and Yahuwah with the everlasting salvation. He shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. For thus said Yahuwah that created Shamaim, Elohim himself that hath formed the earth and hath made it, he hath established it. He created it not in vain, he formed it to be inhabited. I am Yahuwah, and there is none else. I have spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. I have said not unto the seed of Jacob, seek ye me in vain. I, Yahuwah, speak righteousness.
He speak what?
Speak righteousness.
And what else?
I declare things that are right.
Didn't the Son say everything the Father do, the Son do likewise? So what we looking at is that anything that we teach our children, it should be righteousness and it should be right. You know what I'm saying? That's what it should be. Let's go over here to, what's this in my head? Go on to get a Matthew 5 and 46. All we looking at is example. The Father is stating the example that he set for his Son. His Son talks about it, what we read in John 15, everything that I know, I gave it to you. It's talking about the example. So we looking at example. If it's something that we wouldn't want to show our children, knowing that the Father was very, very comfortable and showing that to his own Son, then we need to take that into account with everything that we teach our own children. If we say we gonna be like, because we talking about being like Elohim, all the extraneous stuff is irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? We talking about if we like Yah and we saying that ye are gods and all of you are sons of the Most High, and Elohim himself taught his Son everything, showed him everything. It wasn't nothing that the Father did that he couldn't show the Son. It wasn't nothing that he spoke or taught that he couldn't teach his Son. Then we have to look at that and follow that same example. That's my point. Go ahead.
Matthew 4.
5 and 48. 46 actually. I don't know where you get Matthew 4 from.
I was just on that thing. You said 48?
5 and 46. Make it 46.
It says, for if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans do the same?
Yep.
And if ye salute your brother and only, what do ye more than others?
Yep.
Do not even the publicans do so?
Yep.
Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in Shamahim.
So it's as your Father in Shamahim is complete and mature, you need to be complete and mature. He was mature enough to say, he say everything, go to John 10 and 30. Everything that the Father had, he was able to show it to the Son. After that, John 14, and then we go to the massacre of the Baal worshippers. You know what I'm saying? But we just get to the point of the example, because what we read in Titus was, speak thou things that are of sound doctrine, healthy teaching. We see that in Isaiah 45 and 48, he said he speak righteousness and things that are right. So that means he separated these two things. That means he speaks things that are of faith, and he speaks things that are correct. So that means everything that come out the mouth of Yahuwah is correct. So that means everything that come out of our mouths to our children should be correct. And if we feel like those things are not righteousness or right, then we should not teach them to our children, which means that we should not engage in them either. Like I said, if you feel that cursing or profane language, so to speak, is righteousness and right, then teach them to your children. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait till they're 10, 15 years old. Teach them now. And don't get upset when somebody comes and say, your son was around here cussing. I find those acceptable words for grammatical usage. So don't come telling me about my son using those words. We don't take offense nor find those words to be wrong. There's not many people who do that. Most of the time when you see older people teaching kids cuss words, it's because they think it's funny to hear them use them. They laughing. You heard her. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm gonna tell you what my my 9th grade science teacher told us. He felt like people who used those words were people of a small mind who could not properly express themselves, and because of their lack of comprehension and vocabulary skills, had to relate to that. You know what I'm saying? I can say that I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have to speak like that. But also I will say this here, when you're speaking a message to anybody, you have to be able to make sure that your audience can understand your words. If you throw around a whole bunch of words in your conversation and nobody knows what you're talking about, you did that for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You didn't really do that for the people to understand what you were speaking. You just wanted the people to know that you were smart and you knew a lot of words. Because I've met people like that, they use them words, and I look at them like, nigga, I don't know what you just said, cuz. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go over here because I don't understand you. You know what I'm saying? You have some people, now there's some words that people feel like are big words, which are really not. They just not used in the course of regular conversation with most people.
I feel like that's everybody individual line, man.
Indeed. Some people feel like how Kevin Hart was feeling, you know. All he said was amicable. That's truly not a big word. That is not what people call a $5 word. It is definitely not a $5 word.
No, but it's not a.
Is it a word?
Is it look at nobody crazy but not know what that means?
No, I ain't gonna look at you crazy. What I'm saying, is it a word that's used in normal conversation? No. Is it a big word? No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. This I've always felt since a child. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, I'm talking about. I know some $5 words. That is not a $5 word. You know what I'm saying?
Does the length of the word make it?
No, it's
that's what people are missing.
A $5. You can hear amicable, depending on what circles you run with, very, very often. No, that's not a $5. No, by no means. A $5 word is a word that you got to sit back. You can sound amicable out and spell it.
Say a $5 word.
Shoot, I'm trying to think of something. I ain't used one in so long. I know Dog knows something.
Dog got me in the pocket.
I don't even know what $5 means, man.
Now I'm gonna be honest with you. A $5 word is one of the words like it don't pop in your head off the rip to use them because you don't use them very often because it's not many people who gonna understand the word if you used it. Do you know what I'm saying? But amicable just means to be kind, to be nice to each other, to deal with each other in a kind fashion. You know what I'm saying?
But that's a word that you want to use in a sentence. It's just to describe something. Like it just. But
don't say that.
But I'm gonna say this for all of y'all, and this is what I was taught as a child. If you want to expand your vocabulary, read The reason why people's vocabularies are limited because they don't read. You know what I'm saying? If you want to expand your vocabulary, read books. Because you know what happens when you read books? You run across a word that you don't know. You know what that forces you to have to do? Open up the dictionary and look it up and find out what it means. You know what I'm saying? Now, as a child, I used to read the dictionary.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I would go to the bathroom, have to poop, and take the dictionary with me and read that.
My brother did that too. Oh no, he used to pick on him so much. Now I know that you
I got out.
Well, as Fourth is talking about an example, I learned the example from reading stuff on the pot from my granddaddy because he did it. That's where I learned it from.
Me too. My daddy did it too. So I don't go empty-handed.
Yeah, I read the newspaper, I read books, but when I hit my teenage years, I took the dictionary with me. The reason being is because I was already an articulate individual. I'm going to tell you, one of the most disrespectful things that I've ever heard in my life is, you know, you're very articulate. And I felt like you were saying you articulate for a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because you felt like I shouldn't be able to speak like this. I know that's what they were saying. Flabbergasted ain't even a $5 word.
Well, that's
because everybody uses
that's dollar store.
Yeah, when you first heard it, nobody knew that.
Niggas didn't use that back in the day. Everybody started saying flabbergasted.
Yeah, that's not a $5 word.
Still ain't.
It was though. That's what I'm
They
saying.
wasn't even a $5 word is words that you may only hear in a upper crust college campus.
Not even upper crust. It's a word you hear the spelling bee.
Some of the words in the spelling, you know, and I'm gonna be honest with you, what we think of $5 words come from really our lack of reading. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't read regularly as a people, and we hear these words, we think these words so large when these are regular words. Because we don't read. The only thing niggas want to read is hip-hop magazines and Sports Illustrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't find too many, you know, we all know the saying, you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in the book. But even like I told y'all last night, I stopped reading novels at 10 years old because I didn't want to be read to be entertained anymore. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to learn something while I was reading. You know what I'm talking about? But, now livid is definitely not a $5 word. Livid is definitely not a $5 word.
Livid? Anybody know what livid means?
You're upset or angry.
Yeah, we know you know.
Yeah, we got somebody else.
I don't talk to everybody else.
My mama answered that question. Huh?
I think
I can't hear.
hear nobody. He answered so fast.
No, my mama answered first. That's why I said so.
God knows some words.
What you say, Kira? Exasperating. Not a $5 word, but it's not a normal word used in the course of conversation. Now that is definitely a $5 word. She put in there pusillanimous or something like that. That's definitely a $5 word. She just dropped that in. That is a $5 word. That is a $5 word though. Well, that is a $5 word.
I don't want to use that word.
Pusillanimous is what she put in there.
Wait, can I guess the
That boy do look right.
I don't know the meaning. I've never seen that word before in my
I
life.
know you know what it means, dog.
No, I wanted to guess though.
I don't know what it means. I've never seen that word before in my life.
Who came up with it?
D put that in there.
told me Dwayne was out there cussing. What did he say? He called my son asinine. He is not cussing me. He called my son stupid.
But that's a very, it's not a word that's used regularly, but it's not a $5 word.
Say asinine?
Yeah, asinine means you're an idiot, an imbecile, a cretin, if you will.
Yeah, you done heard that before.
I say it quite a bit. What, asinine? Oh, I say it quite a lot. You an asinine individual. You know what I'm saying? I remember Langston told me when we were young, that nigga said, boy, I had to go get a dictionary. You wasn't finna leave me behind. What did you say?
But some of the words don't sound. It sound like you.
Like Kira said, it's exasperating, a $5 word. Any of y'all ever heard the word exasperating or exasperation?
Words you can say that make the sentence more efficient.
Who in here knows what exasperated or exasperation means?
That's like exhausted, right?
Yeah, you're tired.
Yeah.
You're tired.
Extremely fatigued.
Extremely.
the word, there comes just like there are levels
I
to
guarantee
word.
you, it's a whole bunch of people that have no idea what that word is.
Moray. Yeah.
What?
Moray.
More? Yeah, that's a Hebrew word.
But
Yeah,
it's still a whole bunch of people that
It just means teacher.
yeah, that's true.
Like when I started dealing with the word, I use context. Now I'm gonna tell you one thing: you can use deductive reasoning to figure out what something means. Cause when I seen dudes say they were a moray, I had never heard that word before. But using deductive reasoning, I was able to determine this is a teacher.
Yeah, a prophet or some man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Deductive reasoning is a very, see, they taught us that in school. I don't know if they taught y'all that. I can see that a lot of people don't have deductive reasoning.
Context clues. Context clues.
Yeah, deductive No, they don't call, no, deductive reasoning and context clues is two different things. It's two different things. After my two totally different things. Because it doesn't necessarily mean dealing with figuring out what a word means. You know what I'm saying?
I'll wait though for you to get understanding of how they're not.
Because context clues, you're looking at, okay, you can figure deductive reasoning is actually using your intellect with scarce amount of information to come to a conclusion.
It was context clues?
Yeah.
Context clues could be certain things that are left in there and you put two and two together. But deductive reasoning, you may not have a whole bunch of clues to put it together.
But
Because deductive reasoning is kind of like what detectives do. You might have to be able to put a scenario together with no evidence. When you have context clues, you have some manner of evidence.
That was a better example.
You know what I'm saying? Because context clues will be dealing with the framework of a sentence. I can put this together, what you're saying. Deductive reasoning could be with a sentence or a situation. And you have to deduce what it is based off little or nothing.
I mean, it's not really context clues.
Well, if you got context clues, you got a little bit more information.
context clues, you might not necessarily know no background.
See, that's the whole key thing with you have context to be able to put it together. When you're deductive reasoning, you may have no context.
I mean, deductive reasoning is the same thing, because, like, this is how deductive reasoning. Alright, I see them two might be together, them two might be together. And it says it's three couples, right? I ain't gonna use y'all.
Please don't.
I don't use yourself.
I don't like wide back men. My name is not Bobby Valentino.
You get what I'm saying? Somebody tell you all of them together. Look around. Alright,
I'd have to pull out. I understand where you're coming from, but it's been a long time since I've used the technical term for what deductive reasoning is, but my memory doesn't say that that's what it was.
For the record, I'm just an older guy.
What that got to do with anything? Where that come from?
Because he said them two might be together, them two might be together.
He said for the record.
That nigga said for the record.
I want to take away your relationship.
It took something away because she just gently slapped this nigga in the face like, don't you never play with me like that. Come on, man. Let's roll, baby boy. But yeah, I'm going to tell you again, though, man. You want to expand your vocabulary, read a book. You know what I'm saying? Indeed. Read a book. One of the funniest words niggas like to use back in the day was sanctimonious. Niggas hated when a nigga told them you was sanctimonious. Huh? What you talking about? Oh, somebody just put something in something? Oh, cats and jammer. Then Monica say cats and jammer is a $5 word. Definitely is. It means something that's loud or confused.
You can just say that instead of saying the word that's all three of the words together.
One word.
Or you just say confused.
Yeah, you can say. I put it this way. Hold on. I'm gonna put it this way. I'm gonna put it to you this way. For somebody who's a wordsmith, that doesn't work. I'm just saying, it doesn't work. The reason being because this is what I was taught. That if you don't use the words that's in your vocabulary, you will lose them. You know what I'm saying? So I can say somebody who's a wordsmith, yeah, I can say confused, but let's get saucy with it. Why, you know what I'm saying? Why can't you get saucy with it? You ain't even saying it to make it seem like you this, that, there, and the third. I didn't want to put a little bit of flavor on this meat. That's all. I didn't want to put a little flavor on it. You know what I'm saying? A little A1 steak salt. That's all.
I think pick up where you got slang for the same reason.
Real talk.
Even slang, people go around and say they were compensated. That is not a word.
It is today. You know what I'm talking about? But when it comes to slang,
That ain't even slang though. Conversation ain't even slang.
Yeah, a lot of words are in the dictionary. But slang is also contingent on where you're from. Because I knew niggas from New York that could hold full conversations and you had no idea what they were talking about based off the slang that they used.
That's what y'all used to do.
You know what I'm saying?
We used to.
Then you could go to California and they slang is totally different.
That's why you say used to.
Like I know in Jacksonville, a lot of people don't have a lot of slang. When we were hustling, I made up slang for the things that we had. You know what I'm saying?
I made some slang up too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga called me talking about they want some weed, and I'll be like, okay, you want that Robert Parrish? I got you. Don't call my phone talking about you want no weed. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want. Because we knew that he smoked weed and his nickname was the Chief, so that's why I came up with that. We would call crack. You know what I'm saying? We would call crack Jolly Ranchers. You know what I'm saying? Because you call cocaine nose candy, so we would call crack Jolly Ranchers because it's hard candy. You know what I'm saying? Don't call my phone talking about you want some raw. So you got some Jolly Ranchers? Yeah, I got some Jolly Ranchers right here for you, man. Come to the house, I got a whole bag.
So you were the candy man?
The candy man. Look at Dog. Dog getting him. Look at him. We gonna get Dog right one of these days. Go ahead, man. Look at Dog trying to talk on street. Come on, man. We gotta roll. We ain't mad at you, Dog. We gonna get you right one of these days. One of these days we can take you to the hood. You can have a conversation. No, but Dog, we know that when we use certain terms, you looking at us like I don't know what that means.
I know, but Willie usually help me out.
Yeah, that is true. Brought a little way. You brought a little way. She said y'all don't use all that. That's the same token of when y'all say brick. Somebody who don't know y'all ain't gonna know what you're talking about. Ain't nobody gonna know what you're talking about. If they don't know what that slang is, oh, I gotta go get my brick. Nigga, get your what?
Yeah, they gonna be like, what you said?
Niggas ain't got bricks at the house. What you I mean, it has multiple meanings because they use it as saying it's the book. A brick is a jump shot in basketball, a missed shot. A brick is cocaine, depending on who you talk to.
Or you can use it for a house, you know.
I'm for real, because nigga be like, boy, I'm finna go pick up them bricks. You know what I'm talking about? And then for old petty hustler nigga, his jugglers were bricks. I got them bricks. Depends on who you talk to. Because slang is interchangeable.
That would make it slang.
I'm telling you right, because I knew niggas from everywhere, right, round our way. And niggas we knew from California, they slang was real, real different. But boy, them New York nigga had slang, you be like, boy, what did this nigga just say? You know what I'm saying? And this nigga had that nigga got slang for everything. You know what I'm talking about? Not slang for a few things, slang for everything. That nigga looked at me and nigga said, yeah, boy, I used to ride the iron horse all the time. I said, nigga, what?
I don't want to ride anything.
But he was talking about the subway.
Oh, yeah.
He was talking about the subway. I used it, but I'm like, hey, my nigga, what? Iron horse? What you got going on?
Yeah, cigarette. Yeah, I knew that. You got a bag? You smoking bag?
Oh, now them niggas used to come up with a cigarette. Let me get a square.
Yeah.
Let me get a bone. Let me get a bogey. That's what a nigga call it. Nigga won't say let me get a lucid. Like down here, I don't say that too, but down here, nigga be like, you got a square? But in New York, they call it a bogey. Like I say in Jacksonville, they call it a square. You know what I'm saying? In New York, they call weed and crack smoking rules. Down here, niggas say you juicing.
Biscuit. You know about that?
In New York, they call a biscuit a pistol.
That's a burner.
That's a burner. Niggas say you got the biscuit.
You got the biscuit?
That's a pistol. That's a pistol. You know why they call it a biscuit? Because the biscuit's warm. Hot. The biscuit.
Look, I like that. What?
Yeah, damn it. And what they call it down here in Jacksonville, you got that fire stick. You got your stick.
Stick talk.
Because it started with fire stick and it just turned to stick. Yeah, it all depends on where you from. Oh, not the Usher Raymond. Then nigga say, you got bumps. Y'all know Usher getting sued by a man.
Yeah, I seen that.
Nigga say Usher said a man said Usher gave him herpes.
Man that got herpes.
Nigga say Usher gave that was his problem. He was messing with butt. That was his problem. No, I'm dead serious though. Usher getting sued by 2 women and 1 man that he gave them herpes.
He gave the man herpes.
Now what the man saying? Saying he gave him herpes.
He could be saying that though, because he got some partner that slept with.
I don't know who he got herpes from.
I'm just saying.
Hey, let's get over the fact everybody in this room know Usher is gay. That's not a military secret. This is not G14 classified. But if he ain't gay, he's surely feminine. Man, it's just like, y'all act like y'all ain't know that man got a little sugar in his tank. I didn't even talk about all that, how he got there. We know it's some sugar in that tank. Somebody put some sugar in there. Somebody put some dominoes in his tank. Somebody put it in there. Y'all knew Trey Songz was sweet before you seen him with the blouse on? That nigga had on a blouse. Okay, come on. We got to roll. Hey, you heard this nigga talking about she ain't no Trey Songz like boys. She ain't never seen a nigga with his blouse on. I'll put it this way. I see a grown man wear a blouse, you gay. Surely, nigga suspect.
I always said.
By who? I said about Prince too. Nigga had on burnout pants. What more do you need?
Boy had a jumper with a handkerchief.
I wouldn't care what he had on. He was stealing niggas too. Hey, metrosexual mean borderline homosexual for all I'm concerned. Ain't no real man got no business wearing no burnout pants. Nigga, your booty out. Your booty is out. Oh yeah, I'm just saying. You wanna act like you ain't no. I see that nigga with a full blouse on. If that nigga ain't gay, the sky ain't blue. Around here with a blouse on. Grown rusty nigga with a. Don't take away from his music. What you mean? Okay, I put you this way. Would you date a nigga with a blouse on? Would you date a nigga with a blouse on? Hey, boy, she ain't no try. She slid it. I said, would you date a nigga with a blouse on? She said, Darius wear him all the time. Come on, man. Lord have mercy. Come on, man. I got you where? I got you. John 10 and 30.
John 10 and 30, y'all. Excuse the sidebar.
It's all right. Just expand your vocabulary. Keep them blouses off your back.
It said, I and my Father are one.
Are what?
Are one.
Go ahead.
Then the Yahudim took stones up again to stone him.
Why they want to kill him?
Yahushua answered, many good works have I showed you from my Father.
Yep.
For which of those works do you stone me?
He said what?
The Yahudim answered him and said, for a good work we stone thee not. But for blasphemy, and because that thou being a man,
being a what?
Elohim.
Go ahead.
It said, Yahushua answered them.
What'd he say?
Is it not written in your laws?
That ye are what?
Ye are Elohim.
Ye are what?
Elohim.
So that means you both to be just like him, right? What are some of the attributes the book say is Elohim is? What's one of them? You know one? Tell me one. What is the attribute of Yah? You had to put your hand on your head to do that? I give you that. The book do say that. What's the attribute of Elohim, Darius? I'm talking about as far as written in the text, like when he said Yahuwah Elohim, and then he say I'm boom, 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 boom. Because Elohim is pure. If he's pure, that means he's clean. Well, to be feared is an action. An attribute is something that he say represents him. Yeah, merciful is one. DC said merciful. What you say there? Okay, he a warrior. I'll give you that. Come on, Stanley.
According to numbers, he doesn't lie.
He's not a liar. Come on, Cap. Huh? I'll give you that because the son said that, so the father the same. Come on, Dwight. I'll give you that. It does say that. Come on, little muffin.
What was the question?
What are the attributes of Elohim? Because he said, I and my Father are one. Then he said, it's written in your law, ye are gods. You are Elohims. So what if you Elohim, you only Elohim through Yahuwah, what are some of the attributes of Yahuwah? They mentioned pure, they mentioned merciful, they mentioned clean, mentioned, what you say? Warrior. What'd you ask, Stanley?
He's not a liar.
Not a liar. And Dwight said he's gentle. Long suffering is one. Come on, Deidre. She killing what she doing. He blesses.
I'm trying to put it into words. Come back to me.
Come on, Shayla. Huh? You said faith indeed. Come on, John.
Righteous judgment.
Give you righteousness and a judge, but that's not an attribute. That's more of an office of the judge.
Love and kindness.
Love and kindness. That's merciful, but same thing. We'll take it. Come on. Come on, Mom Boots.
A couple of them.
He's all over.
Okay, this ain't written in the book, but we'll take it. Go ahead. Oh yeah.
Selfless.
It ain't written in the book like that, but we'll take it. Come on. It's not written like that, but we'll take it. A provider. Yeah, that's in one of the words when you define it. I mean, they're talking about like when he said like he said like it say verses like he's without iniquity, he's just, he's righteous, he's set apart, he's merciful, he's long suffering. Things, all the things you said correct that we could pull them out and line it up. But like in certain spots, like in Job, where he say there's no iniquity with him. Or like it say in Deuteronomy 32, he's just and set apart. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at it, we say we are Elohims, and we already read John 12, and the Son said, everything the Father teaches me, I speak. Everything I see the Father do, I do. So the Father is just, so I'm just. And just is blameless and upright. So that's why we sit back looking at it. If you feel that that type of language or this behavior is just and upright, then you should teach it to your children forthwith. It shouldn't be no hesitation. If you feel like it's just and upright. Anything that you do claiming you a son or daughter of Elohim, you should feel like you should teach that to your children if you say you just like your father is just. Because he says, I'm righteous and I teach things that are right. You know what I'm saying? He say, I teach thee and lead thee to the way of profit. So that means what he taught Yahusha was for his gain, which turned up being our gain. So what you're supposed to teach your children is supposed to give you gain, which goes back to what we read last night about bodily exercise profiteth little, but exercise and godliness profiteth in all things. Because bodily exercise does profit, but it only profits you. It don't profit nobody else. I don't get healthy or muscular based off weights he lift. You know what I'm talking about? But godly exercise profits everybody you come in contact with. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're going to be exhibiting righteousness. We also missed the key thing. He said he's love. You're going to exhibit the love. You're going to exhibit the loving kindness, the mercy, the long suffering, the gentleness, the goodness, the truth. You're going to exhibit all of these things that profits everybody. That's what, because me and my homeboys had a conversation with that years ago, and I understood, would admit they didn't understand. They were like, man, you can't say that bodily exercise ain't no good. I just said, he said it profited little. Your good health helps no one.
Dude, help your family.
I help them. If my baby gets sick, that ain't gonna help him, because daddy in good health. That nigga sick, we gotta get him some medicine.
Dude, I gotta pay for it though.
What that got to do with your good health?
Well, I ain't in good health. I can't afford it. I gotta go out there.
You can go to 40. You don't go out there whether you sick, deranged, or backed up. You don't get on out there.
I can't go.
And guess what though? Your bodily health, you living in ways and get your son right, like your son bicep gonna pop up an inch because you did a curl.
I gotta curl him up though.
Man, go lay down.
If I can't pick him up?
Go lay down. Go lay down. Somebody give him a pillow. Shoot, I mean you gotta do a lot of curls to lift him up.
That's what I'm saying.
But guess what though? That ain't gonna make him get ripped. His chest ain't gonna grow.
I just need some rest for myself.
It's gonna help him get around.
So, are we just agreeing in that
It's not that costly.
it's not going to be transferable what physical exercise but the spiritual exercise that you do is directly transferable because
That's what Paul wrote in his epistle to Timothy. He was telling them bodily exercise profiteth little, but godliness is exercise godliness rather, for that's profitable in all things. He wasn't saying bodily exercise was irrelevant or didn't have a place. He's just saying his gain is not that large. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, we see that now with all the money, that billions of dollars that people spend on health foods and training programs. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be in the greatest bodily shape ever and still go to hell. I can't see nobody exercising godliness and going to hell. Not if you actually doing it and putting it into action. I can't see that happening. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't put it into play. Come on, man. Where you at? John 10. Keep rolling.
We at John chapter 10 and verse 35.
Yep.
If he called them Elohim, unto whom the word of Elohim came, and the scripture cannot be broken. Say ye of him whom the Father has sanctified and sent into the world, thou blaspheming, because I said I'm the son of Elohim. If I do not the works of my Father, believe me not.
Yeah.
But if I do, though ye believe not me, believe the works that ye may know.
He say if he don't do the works of his Father, then don't believe it. But if he do believe, what was those works? His works came from the example the Father set. Because everything that the Father did in the scriptures is what the Son emulated. That's why he said you can't. He said it's written in the prophets that they all shall be taught of Elohim. All that have heard of the Father come unto me, because he is exhibiting the example that the Father already has set. So that's what we're looking at when we're dealing with our children. You're supposed to teach them the things that you do yourself, because that's what your father and Shamahim did, and then that's what your Malik, your Savior, did. Children. Come on back, we got to get on this particular ball. You want a ball?
That's not nice.
2 Kings chapter 10. Second Kings chapter 10. I don't even know where we stopped at. 10 and 10.
Second Kings 10 and 10. Know now that there shall fall unto the earth nothing of the word of Yahuwah.
There shall not fall nothing to the earth, but what?
Of the word of Yahuwah.
Hold on, read that again.
Know now that there shall fall unto the earth nothing of the word of Yahuwah.
Now come on around here, the son of Master said in Matthew 5. Matthew 5 and what? 15? Make it 14. All right, you all right at this point, because now you're just moaning like you had a funeral.
Matthew 5 and 14. Ye are the light of the world, and the city set on the hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light to all that are in the house.
Yep.
Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and esteem your Father which is in Shamayim.
Yep.
It says, think not that I am come to destroy the law of the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, not one jot or tittle, and no wise shall pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
Not a single one of these words gonna fall to the earth. Not one of them. You know why? He told you to seek you out the book of Yahuwah and read. None of these will fail. They all have their mate. You got to know nothing of this man's word is gonna fail. That's what he's telling you. Come back to 2 Kings, man. Yeah, you got the man. Well, all I have. I don't know who told you that lie. I do prefer it. 2 Kings 10 and 10.
Know now that there shall fall unto the earth nothing of the word of Yahuwah, which Yahuwah spake concerning the house of Ahab. For Yahuwah have done that which he spoke unto his servant Elijah. So Yahuwah slew all that remained in the house of Ahab, and Yezreel, and all his great men, and his kinsfolk, and his priests, until he left none remaining.
Not now.
And he rose and departed and came to Samaria, and he was at the shearing house in the wake. And Yahuwah met with the brother of Ahaziah, king of Yehuda, and said, Who are ye? And they answered and said, We are brethren of Ahaziah, and we are going down to salute the children of the king and the children of the queen. And he said, Take them alive. And he took them alive and slew them at the pit of the shearing house, even 42 men, neither left he any of them. And when he departed, thence he lighted on Yehoiada, the son of Rechab, coming unto to meet him. And he saluted him and said to him, Is thine heart right?
Is your heart what?
Is thine heart right?
What else?
As my heart is with thy heart?
Mm-hmm.
And Yehonadab answered, It is. If it be, give me thy hand. And he gave him his hand, and he took him up upon the chariot.
2 Corinthians 13:3. You see what he asked him, is his heart right? He said it is. He said, take his hand. This is the same thing Hamashiach say to you when you coming unto him. Is your heart right? Then come join yourself with me. Corinthians 13. 3. 2 Corinthians 13:3.
It says, Since you seek a proof of Mashiach speaking in me, which do you inward, which to you is not weak, but is mighty in you. For though he was crucified through weakness, yet he liveth by the power of Elohim. For we also
he said,
weak.
as my heart is with thy heart. See, a lot of people's hearts are not really with Elohim. And that's where the problem comes in at. Hold that right there. Give me Psalm 78, about verse 20.
Behold, he smote the rock, that the waters gushed out and streams overflowed. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people? Therefore Yahuwah heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Yasharah. Because they believed not in Elohim and trusted not in his salvation.
Because they believed what?
They believed not in Elohim and trusted not in his salvation.
Because mean your heart ain't with him then. Go ahead.
Though he had commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of Shamayim, and had rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them of the corn of Shamayim, man did eat angels' food, for he sent meat to the full. And he caused an east wind to blow in Shamayim, and by his power he brought in the south wind.
Go ahead.
He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sand of the sea.
Go ahead.
And he let it fall in the midst of their camp round about their habitations. So they did eat and were filled, for he gave them their own desire.
He gave them what?
Their own desire.
That's what a lot of people end up getting. He end up giving you exactly what it is you're looking for. That's what you want, he give it to you. That's not what I want to do. What verse you in right now? You said 30? I got 36 what I want.
It said, nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth, and they lied unto him with their tongue.
That's the same thing the master told you in Matthew 15. Their hearts are far from me, for they go after the doctrines and commandments of men. Go ahead, look at what he takes.
It says, for their heart was not right with him.
And is that not what this man was asking? Is thy heart right? As my heart is with thy heart. Go ahead. He said their heart wasn't right. Well, read that again. Read it to him.
He said, for their heart was not right with him.
Their heart was not right. Why wasn't their heart right?
Neither were they steadfast in his covenant.
That's why their heart wasn't right. Because they wasn't steadfast in his word. If you wonder why people's hearts are not right, that's why your heart is not right. You're really not locked in with the word. You got everything else going on around you except what matters. If you want your heart, because he said it's your heart. Come back to 2 Corinthians 13. Because you got to look at the question what he asked him. Is thy heart right, and as my heart is with thy heart? Is your mind right, and do you have the same mind that the Son and the Father got? Then he said, if it is, he said, take my hand and get in my chariot and ride with me. That's what he told him, right? He said, give me his hand, and he pulled him up in that chariot and he rode with him. How else you going to ride with this man unless your heart is right and your heart is as his heart? It's not going to happen. Go ahead.
2 Corinthians
13
and 4.
13 and 4, come on.
For though he was crucified through weakness, yet he lived by the power of Elohim.
Children. I already see you finna start. Don't start. Go ahead.
For we also are weak in him, but we shall live with him by the power of Elohim towards you. Examine yourselves whether ye
do what?
Faith. Examine yourselves.
Examine your heart.
Prove your own self.
Prove your own self.
Know ye not your own self?
Don't you know your own self? How? Because is it not what he asking that man, do you know yourself? Because I'm trying to see if you know yourself before I let you get in my chair. You got to examine your own self. See, Psalms 4 tell you this here, right? Go and get Psalm 4 for him, screw it. 4 and 1. He holding 2 Corinthians 13, screw it. You got to examine your own self. If it's something in you, that man told you in Psalms 139, he say, examine the meditation of my heart. And if there be any wrong thing in me, purge it out. He ain't going to come do it himself. You got to purge it out. You got stuff that you need to tighten up, go get you a wrench. You know what I'm saying? Tighten it up. You got stuff that need to be washed, put it in the washing machine. You know what I'm saying? You got stuff that need to go in the landfill, throw it in the garbage can. Roll it out on the curb so the cash man can come get it. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? That man ain't gonna come down here and do this stuff for you. You got to do this for yourself. I told you before, a lot of people are not going to be saved because they don't want to do it. Not that they can't do it, they don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? You have to want to do it. You want to do it. You know what's funny? We want to get weed, and you found your way to get you that weed. You wanted you some penis, you found you a way to get you one. You wanted you some vagina, you found you a way to get you some. You wanted to drink, you found you a way to get you one. You wanted to get to work, you found a way to get to that job. Everything it is that you want to do, you found a way to. But we open our mouth and say, I want to be saved, but yet you can't find a way to get that done. How is that possible? How is that possible? I want to be saved, but I can't find a way to get it done. I want to start a business, you find a way to start it. I want to get a job, you find a way to get one. You know what I'm saying? I want these new shoes, they exclusive. Niggas will break their neck to find an exclusive pair of sneakers. But you mean to tell me you can't put that same dedication and desire to save your soul? You don't want to do it. Because all these things I mentioned, all of us at one point or another, and some of those things, found a way to get all that accomplished. But when it comes to walking in this man's word and being steadfast in his covenant, I mean, it's hard. Oh yeah, she took a look. The way y'all got that boy looking like Marlon Wayans, man. What he done did to your son, man? He got him looking like he from out east, man. Don't do that boy like that.
Yeah, bump the head.
Think about that though. Come on, man. Yes, AJ. She bumped her head. Well, go rub it for her. She came over here to tell us that Muffin bumped her head. That's my water side. That water. So I only came over here to deliver the message that Muffin was injured, and everything else was irrelevant after that. But I mean, let's be honest with it though. How can we find all these ways to get all this other stuff done, but save your soul, you can't find a way to get that done? Everything comes down to desire. You do whatever it is that you want to do. You don't want to do it, that's why you don't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said that there. I don't be want to hear that crap about niggas ain't got the tools. If you got the word of Yah, you got the tools, you just don't want to use them. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Some of y'all was big grown, husky niggas sneaking up out the house at night.
Niggas don't believe that the punishment and consequences will really happen though.
Some people don't, which means you don't. That mean also at the same token, that means you don't believe in the reward either.
They don't believe. They just don't believe nothing happened.
A lot of people don't believe something happened. You know, some people feel like, I wonder, will he still save me? You know what I'm saying? Because of certain things they done did. You know what your man said? Oh, it's over with for me. I ain't got no penal control. He ain't gonna save me. You know, rod like this, ain't nobody gonna save me. I like to sling my rod. Ain't nobody gonna save me. He really said that though. Rod said that. He really said, he ain't put it in them words, but that's pretty much what he said. He did kind of say it like that. He said, boy, I ain't got no penis control, and boy, I like to sling it.
Yeah, he said, I know I'm going, because he said, y'all put us on here to go to hell, because he said he know because he can't control it.
Yeah, he said, his exact words was, I have no penis control. He said, y'all better than me. He said, I can't control it. I'm going to sling it.
That sound like bro 5 heartbeats.
He really said that though.
That was bro 5 heartbeats.
He really said that. A real conversation. You know what I'm saying? But that came down to he didn't have the desire to do it.
Some people really think you only live once, though.
Yeah, you got to.
Like, people really believe that. They feel like once you die, you just, that's it.
Yeah, it's over with.
You only get this life, so live it up.
But Ron wasn't thinking like that. Ron was saying, this book telling me I got to control my penis, and I'm not controlling my penis, so I guess I'm going to hell.
That's exactly what he said. He said that. He said he know he going because he can't control it.
But he can control it. He doesn't want to. See, some people, you can control your body. What's one of the fruits of the Spirit? Temperance, self-control. And that is an attribute of Elohim. But how many times did this man want to kill everybody and control himself and didn't do it? He said, you know what? I'm going to execute my mercy on them so they can see that I ought to be feared, because I ought to kill all of y'all. I ought to kill all of y'all. Before he murked them people with the flood.
He could kill all us and start over.
He did pretty much.
Really? He had somebody to start over?
He did. He used 8. He started over. That man said it repented to him that he even made man. That's how hard they were going. That's how hard they were going. And they were going this hard because he said they corrupted the way of Yahuwah upon the earth. That means they knew the way and chose not to do it. Didn't want to. You know what I'm saying? All jokes aside, Bobby Valentino ain't got to choose no trannies. He choose trannies. That's what he likes. They were climbing a little scrap because he was in the video with him. That nigga say them was women. They were ugly women, but they were women. But why you hanging out with a nigga you know running with trannies?
What they like.
Because that's what you like, probably. Because them wasn't no ugly women. Those were men.
What's the difference?
Those were men. There's a difference. You can see a woman like, yeah, she ugly. Them niggas had some manly features. Yeah, if you can't tell the difference between the ugly woman and the man, boy, you need to go talk to somebody. Somebody failed you.
I don't know. I always see some stuff online.
You can see some stuff online, but at the same token, look at that nigga chin.
No, I'm about to say I can tell. Being a woman, I can definitely.
Look, all I know is look at that nigga chin. That nigga face is hard.
I done seen some on there, bro.
I'm gonna tell you something. There's a shofar where you gonna kill all that. If the chin fooled you, if the wrist fooled you, when that nigga get butt bookie naked, you know what I'm talking about? Oh, I seen what Scrappy said that was him in the video. I actually seen the interview about it. That penis ain't gonna fool you. That nigga get butt naked, he spread them legs open, and that snake fall down. You ain't gonna be fooled. You like that's a man. No. Nah, yeah, that's what he say. I seen the video that nigga say, you know Bobby V was gay, all them punch and V-neck t-shirts he had on. I say, yeah. That nigga had cleavage. I ain't never seen a grown man with cleavage. That nigga said, come get your keys, Bob. But ain't no way in the world that nigga ain't know that was no man. That nigga had to know that was a man. I seen the photograph, I said, well, that's a man. That's a man. No, but I did see a video where Scrappy said, that's why I get that he said he didn't say ugly women. But he was like, he was there, but there was they wasn't no men, they just were ugly women. I mean, not him though. That's them niggas though. You know, them Atlanta niggas funny.
Yeah, it is Atlanta.
Them niggas funny. Them Duval County niggas funny too, because back in the day we could catch them niggas over there on Davis Street.
That's downtown.
Yeah, man, nigga be hustling late night, you pull up to that shell, all them trainers be out there, you guess who out there with them? Your neighborhood dope man and some niggas you know. Tricking with the trainers on Davis Street. Shoot, some of y'all done picked up that Vickers Advocate and opened up that shame, and seen them niggas around there tricking with them trainers on Main Street. And some of them niggas was like, boy, you ain't know that was a man. But you know that was a man, boy.
It was dog.
It was dog. Mm-hmm. Getting topped off by Mr. Jones. You better go home to your wife, boy. Why these niggas been tricking with trainers though? Yeah, I know some of them feel like they got the surgery game down and the weave and the makeup and all that there. But boy, you can look some of them niggas in the face, boy, you was a man. Remember if I showed you when that nigga was in the car and if boy got deep, who but you gonna be? Nigga, who but you gonna be? I'm like, oh my lamb. You can tell that was a man. That was a grotesque looking individual. I don't think it was. I don't know.
Sodomite.
They were sodomites. Were they dressing up like women? Maybe.
Sodomite.
Cause we know them Egyptians were doing it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
We know the Egyptians were dressing up like women.
You know them Canaanites going under the heater to get that good makeup.
Get that good makeup. Line is here. Talking about look at Aten. I'm finna drop something on Aten. Cause he got some hot cotton. Ain't nothing new under the sun now. So get what? He said if a man was cutting in privy stones and remember he couldn't get in, so they might have been in Egypt cutting off lawn. Because every law was about what them niggas were doing.
Yeah. They were going down to Egypt for that.
Majority of every law that's in there, and like I said, when we get to the law, you gonna see that pretty much every law he gave, the Canaanites were doing it.
Yeah, that's why he said, yeah.
If the Canaanites weren't doing it, the Egyptians were doing it. And we all know the Egyptians were woo. Woo. Parties up there, yeah, the boom boom room. Come on, man. All jokes aside, they got that on their hieroglyphics, Lisa, of them having sexual relations with men. Like this is historically documented. Like I gotta clown about it because it's an idolatrous society, so they don't get no love. Same way the Greeks, pure stone cold faggots. And I'm skeptical about them Indians. I just ain't looked into it with that tantric yoga that they into. Some of y'all probably were reading about tantric yoga, trying to sit back. You can learn you some new freaky moves. I ain't too sure about them. Indians with Christians. I ain't looked into it yet.
Oh, I thought you were talking about natives. Yeah, them Indians. I watched the video on that.
Yeah, them East Indian probably were around there with that tranny life. Hey, boy. It's not for children. You don't want to meet your maker today.
It would make sense because I think Vishnu.
No, Christian. You know.
Whatever his name is.
Come on, Harry.
I think he has a female form and a male.
Yeah. Krishna got male and female. That's where they get that yin and the yang from. That's what their problem is. Walking in the whole room just stank. What y'all been doing in here? Psychedelic shock. You got. Then we don't even know about them Buddhists. You already know something wrong when you sitting there looking at a butt naked man. With your legs crossed, talking about I'm looking at that butt naked nigga. Something wrong with you. Lighting candles, singing to a butt naked man.
But they say that's New Age, man. All that stuff.
Oh, that Buddhism is a big deal. Because there's a dude I know on my page that's a Buddhist, but he practiced Buddhism. Now, I know somebody who personally was down with that. Yeah,
like that's not starting. I'm just seeing a lot of people just on the humble. Like
I'm gonna tell you, they've been doing it. It's just weird when you run across somebody who you know doing it.
Man, that the trumpets, they had on the necklace. Always showed it.
Yeah, my nigga say when she was dealing with that Wicca, that lady say this sound like. She told that lady this sound like Satanism. She said the lady told her and she never went back. Because Wicca ain't nothing but dealing with the forces of nature. It's witchcraft.
It's manipulated.
I just seen a nigga who in the word post about white magic is this and black magic is that. You dealing with the word, nigga. All magic is wrong. Go get him Deuteronomy 18 verse 13. Deuteronomy 18 and 10. Got no bit of fooling with no magic. You got some brood, they be around here talking about horoscopes. Talking about ain't nothing wrong with horoscopes, it's right. They really accurate in your personality traits. Nigga, you 50 years old. Sit your monkey behind down somewhere. You sound like a clown. Around here talking about, I ain't messing with no stinking behind Virgo. I ain't messing with a nigga who teach the word, who even follow that. There ain't no type of Ruach or Yahuwah in you. You got an idiot's brain. Come on, man. 18 and 10. Give me 9.
It says, when thou come into the land which Yahuwah
when you come where?
The land that Yahuwah giveth thee.
What did he say?
Thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations.
You shall not learn to do what?
After the abominations of those nations.
He said this is abominable. What are those things he said are abominable?
He says, there shall not be found among you any that maketh his son or daughter pass through the fire.
Ain't got no business offering your children to Molech. What else they ain't got no business?
Or that uses divination.
Y'all know what divination is? Anybody knows what that is? That's necromancy.
Talking with the dead.
That's necromancy. Anybody know what divination is? That's casting spells. Dealing with spirits. You ain't got no business doing that. So you know what that come down to? Tarot cards. Ouija boards,
Magic ball.
magic balls. Some people like magic balls.
Like the old 8 ball.
They had that little thing that came up with Charlie.
That's a crystal ball.
I see. Wickedness.
That is not a magic ball. That is called a crystal ball.
It is a magic ball.
That is witchcraft. Witchcraft. And what does the book say? What should happen to a witch?
Suffer to live.
Can't suffer to live. So guess what? All them princes, all them rulers in Yasharal we've been reading about, they were all diviners. A diviner also is a false prophet.
Observer of times. That's what the.
Go ahead.
Babylon.
Oh,
Come on, man.
I'm a Neo.
Observer of times is, and the word in Hebrew is anon. An observer of time is soothsaying, conjure, spiritism, magic, a sorcerer, an enchanter, a fortune teller.
It says observer of times, or enchanter,
Or a witch, or what else?
or charmer,
A charmer.
or consulter with familiar spirits.
A charmer is somebody who uses magic charms. Kind of like what the Egyptian diggers like to do when they sell their stuff. I put these agate stones to bring serenity into your household. Nigga be like, I'm burning incense to tell it, boy, you wicked.
You see that? You see that?
Oh, nigga been doing that. Nigga been doing that.
Burning sage.
Burning sage, that's wicked. That's wicked.
Nah, that's why I said it.
Now, to be a necromancer, according to the Hebrew application, is to seek another god. And that's what we're going to get into this bell word. Necromancy in the contemporary sense is talking with the dead. But necromancy in Hebrew sense is petitioning and praying to another god. Well, now they can't even call them dead because they never were alive. Yeah, they never were alive.
To the wall.
You just talking.
No, we just talking.
You talking to the carpet.
Yeah.
Talking to you, whoever. Because you got some people, my grandmama came to me in my dream. No, you were just dreaming. Ain't nobody came to you. That nigga's dead. Dead people don't visit you in dreams. Yeah, you were dreaming. Because guess what? Guess what? My auntie been dead for 17 years. That nigga ain't popping up in no dream. That nigga in Edgewood Cemetery.
But you ain't never had a dream about your auntie talking to you?
Yeah, I did. I was before the word.
I ain't gonna lie, I done had a dream about my grandma talking to me.
Yeah, my
But
Oh,
it might not have been her
it was
dream.
only once. I remember it too, because I was locked up, and she asked me, "Have you ever thought about not smoking weed?" And that was the end of it. I was 20 years old. Clearly, I did not, because I smoked for another 12 years.
Oh man.
Smoked weed while I was in the chain gang.
You can't talk with dead people, right?
No, you ain't got to be. Boy,
No, you know she's saying, can it actually happen?
Yeah.
no,
No, you can't actually talk to dead people.
you can't.
Yeah, this is not right.
No, you ain't. No, you ain't actually talking to no dead person.
No, like the little, you talking about like the little Ouija board and stuff.
You ain't talking to no dead person. You talking to a demon.
Oh, so that's real?
Yeah, that's real.
You talking to spirits.
Tell you not to do that.
Well, that wasn't saying
Well, I
though.
wouldn't do it. I'm just saying.
In that instance, that nigga called him a little vision. He called him a little vision.
That's not real.
Who he called?
He was calling up Samuel. So y'all let him get a little vision.
Hey man, I met a witch.
That boy called Samuel.
That nigga called Samuel. He was a little vision.
Remember I told you the lady I met? She was she was
Yeah.
like she was 2 years of my life.
That's just testimony.
For real, I met a witch and she.
I'm gonna tell you like this here, boy. A dead nigga pop up to me, I'm gonna be like, y'all, what have I done? And I'm running. Because clearly you calling some sin to remember and sending these evil spirits against me. I'm out of here.
That's true though.
I'm out of here. That's why like this here nigga pop. Boy, my daddy pop up like this here nigga, you dead. I know, I watched him put you in the ground. What you doing around here? Book say the dead don't remember nothing, they sleep. He ain't finna walk up, let me get up and go holler at my son. That nigga dead.
Well, you know that's not real.
Just like they believe.
You dreaming, they just be.
But a dream is nothing but a figment of your subconscious.
Yeah, so that's what they thinking about. So that's what they want to see.
Yeah, that's what you want to see, but that wasn't them though.
She pretty much said if your people, if somebody who was on your mind heavy, your mind could easily dream about that.
Yeah, just like.
I'm saying, I was looking at my grandma obituary, and next thing you know what, I seen the chick in my dream.
Yeah, because you would think about it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying though, like people like actually look forward to that. They be like,
There's something wrong with you if you're looking forward to that.
well, I don't know what's wrong.
You know why people look forward to that? I'm gonna be honest with you, this is why people look forward to that.
Get comfort.
They trying to get comfort because this nigga gone.
Yeah.
And they know they never coming back. So then you looking for when I talk to her in my dream. No, you crafted that in your brain because you miss this person so much. You want them to be there, but they're dead. They're dead. It's over.
Imagination, what you imagine in your heart. Like you think about sin, you gonna manifest sin. So whatever you manifest in your mind, it's gonna manifest one way or the other. And your subconscious or in reality.
Like they did. I'm gonna tell you something, and then we're gonna keep it moving. When my auntie died, my homegirl said, "Why don't you go out there to her grave and talk to her?" Me being an idiot, I went on around there. You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm thinking to myself when she telling me this, I'm like, talk to her. Nigga, she in the ground, she can't talk back. So I'm just an idiot standing here looking at her headstone, talking to her with no answer. So clearly you got to be dumb to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm for real, because you know niggas love to go post up at the graveyard and take pictures of themselves at the grave. And I went to talking to my mama. I went and dropped off some flowers. Nigga, ain't nobody out there.
I told you when I did the funeral, I'm at the old cemetery. They got blunts out there at the grave.
Yeah, nigga leaving blunts, liquor.
Gifts out there. They leaving stuff out there like it's an idol.
Like it's an idol.
They going out there with real stuff.
And guess what the book tell you to do? Do not, he say, don't seek to the living instead of the dead. That's why in Isaiah, he say they lodge around in monuments and in the cemeteries. What you hanging around there for? Why are you there? There's nothing out there. You know what I'm saying? So guess what happened? I rode out there. This is 2000, right? This is probably like March 2000. My car go to smoking. Tripping and everything. You know what I'm saying? I get up like, dang, boy. As soon as I left, that car ain't smoked ever again. And I ain't never go back neither. I'm talking about on my way there, that car was tripping, smoking, acting stupid. Left, it ain't never do it again. I said, you know what that mean? Don't take your stupid butt out there. Chandra gone. She gone. There was no purpose for you being out there. You know what I'm saying? When we was out there with my daddy died, my mama tried to look for my auntie grave. I thought about it and I said, why waste the time? I ain't gonna find it. I don't know where it's at.
And then even still, you found it, what?
All I'm gonna do is just look at it and look at her name and see 1958 to 2000. That's all I'm gonna see. Like I'm never going out there to look at my daddy grave ever. My brother told me that. He said, "Yeah, man, I'm finna go out there and talk to Pop." I'm like, "Shoot, you talking to the grass?" Yeah, Pop gone. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, ain't nothing left to be said. Not trying to be funny based on what I believe. I'm not going out there to talk to my daddy. You know what I'm saying? Talk to him for what?
Like you said, a demon will play on that mind.
But indeed, but if I heard that nigga voice while I was out there, boy, I might not even jump my car. I might be running down Airwood.
For what though? Why would you run?
I'm running because I don't want to find out what's behind that voice. I'm not finna wait to find out. I'm out of here.
What if you hear while you running?
I ain't gonna hear while I'm running. So is, nigga, on my bike. I ain't finna be like Saul around here getting tormented by evil spirits. And somebody play an instrument. I got to go.
But then too, auditory hallucinations can be a sign of a tumor. So if you hear a voice, you know.
If you have an auditory
Check
hallucination,
up. Just check up.
yeah, check up, lift your head up and cry under y'all, deliver me from this demon.
Hearing voices could be a sign that you have a tumor.
You can have a tumor in your brain. No, it also could be a sign there's an evil spirit around trying to holler at you. All jokes aside.
No, yeah, definitely.
Let's finish this Deuteronomy 18. He said,
We're at verse 11.
Verse 11.
It said, or a charmer,
Or a charmer.
consulter, or familiar spirits, or necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination.
Anybody who do that, Yah finds them offensive.
Because of these abominations, Yahuwah the Elohim does drive them out from.
So because the nations did it, he got rid of them. I've told y'all this before. When we get to the law, you're going to see that a lot of the laws were given because the people in the lands were doing those things. And he said, you're not going to do them. So he kicked them out the land so you could be in the land. And that's why he kicked you out the land. And we've been seeing, looking at all these kings because you were doing those things. Go ahead.
It says, thou shalt be perfect with Yahuwah.
You'll be what?
Perfect.
Remember, perfect means to be complete. And also the word shalom, depending on if it's used here, a covenant of shalom. Being perfect in all actuality is to be a mature, complete person and to actually be in covenant with Yah. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all remember the word shalom, right? Let's see if that's the word for perfect in that verse. It very well may be. Huh?
My footnote says blameless.
It's tamaim in this verse. Complete, entire, and sound. Unimpaired, innocent, having integrity, and guess what? Healthy. Going back to speak those things that pertain to sound doctrine. Things that are healthy. Because that's because tamaim take us back to what Jacob was, because he was tamaim when he said he was a plain man. Which we never got back to that, and most I will get to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's good. When we look at certain things, we look at perfect, and we look at it from the construct of the English perspective. You know what I'm saying? But from a Hebraic perspective, it's to be complete, it's to be whole, it's to be just, it's to be in a covenant with Yah. It's not what we would call being perfect, which meaning technically having no flaws. Because you can have no flaws spiritually and still be a flawed individual naturally, that things that you have to learn and grow past. Because I just had a conversation last night. Just because you got the word doesn't mean that there's certain things naturally that it's just going to snap a finger and they're going to go away. You know what I'm saying? Because that was just because that was asked about me being emotionally available to another human being. Because I had never done it before, I had to learn how to do it. You know what I'm saying? I may have the word, I may know the word. That doesn't change the process of something that I've never done before. I have to learn how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's technically, that's not a spiritual matter of opening yourself up to another person emotionally. That's getting past the point of, that is the scariest, most difficult thing that anybody will ever do in their entire life. You know what I'm saying? If you actually guard your inner self like that, to open yourself, because you opening yourself up to another person and trusting them enough that I can let you get close enough to where you can hurt me, but I trust that you won't do it.
You said these are attributes of a false prophet too?
A diviner is.
So when the false prophet comes, he's doing his little magic?
Not necessarily never magic, I'm talking about a divination. Like, you know when you're reading about false prophet, they say they divine a false prophecy, it also means a false prophet for divination. You know what I'm saying? Conjuring up a false prophecy.
When the beast get killed, he gonna resurrect himself, right?
The adversary gonna have the power to raise him
I was
up.
gonna ask that because I thought y'all.
No, the adversary gonna have the power to raise him up. He gonna give him that power and authority to do it. No, not a wicked person. It's examples of people being risen, but the example is that he's copying Mashiach. And that's all that is. But like I say, right, but I'm going to be honest with you though, right? It's a lot of things that y'all going to encounter naturally as you come on the word that are going to be difficult for you to do. Like you said, right, you look at my age, I'm older than most of y'all. Ain't nobody that I can sit back and holler and be like, bro, how do you emotionally make yourself available to a person when most of the people you around have never done it? So what can they tell you? You know what I'm saying? The only person that I would have hollered at about that naturally is dead. You know what I'm saying? And that would have been my big homie. I could have hollered at him about it, but he dead. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he would have told me, little brother, this is what you do. This is how you do it. I know he could have gave me that insight because me and him was similar on that. It is not an easy thing to open yourself up to another human being. Like emotionally, and make yourself emotionally vulnerable. That is not an easy thing to do. You know what I'm saying? It is not, especially if I never wanted to do it before. You know what I'm saying? So then when you get to the point now, okay, now I want to do this, how do you do it? You're not going to do that in a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? Because that causes you to give yourself over to another person. It's easy to do it with Yah because you know that Yah would never do you no harm. If you trust him, it's easy for you to open yourself up vulnerably when you're praying under him. You know what I'm saying? But for human beings to do it with another human being, it's not that easy. You know what I'm saying? It's not that easy. You have to have that full, and it has nothing to do with the other person unless you just don't trust the other person. And if you don't trust the other person, then you ain't got no business dealing with them in the first place to even think that they would have the opportunity for you to be able to do that with them. But it never has nothing to do with the person. It just has to deal with you getting past it for yourself. Getting past that fear of doing something that is so vulnerable that you've never done before. You know what I'm saying? That's all it's really about. You know what I'm saying? Because my entire life, I felt like I would never give my heart to a woman. That was absurd for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing that. For what? You know what I'm saying? Then when you come across and be like, you know what? I'm ready to do that. How do you do it? You've never done it before. Your peers have never done it. None of your friends have ever done it. So what can they tell you how to do? How can you do this?
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's serious for me. Like I said, ain't nobody never hurt me or did nothing to me. I wasn't never going to give them the chance. You know what I'm saying? I seen too many niggas get drugged and thrown around. I'm like, nigga ain't finna do me like that. You know what I'm talking about? The weirdest thing in the world is when you find yourself, when you dealing with somebody and you catch yourself saying and doing things that you never thought you'd say. And you be like, well, what is wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? Something is wrong with me. You don't think like this. You don't do this. You don't ever feel like this. And that's what people come in at when that word come in. Because they feel in their flesh wanting to go this particular way. But something inside of you is telling you, don't do this, don't go this way. And you like, I ain't never felt like this before. Where is this coming from? Because hopefully that's because the word has been laying up inside of you and it's time to take control of you. And it's trying to direct your ways and stop your flesh from doing what it want to do. And are you going to listen to the word or are you going to listen to your flesh? You know what I'm saying? Because I was in a situation, this woman said, I want to leave. I said, don't go. And I caught myself, I said, what is wrong with you? You tripping about a woman. You ain't never did this before. What's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? And that was weird to deal with something you ain't never felt before. It would be like, oh, I don't want to mess with you no more. All right, cool, peace out. I'm going to holler at you, man. I'm going to go get his weed, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't care nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? They come through like buses, man, every 15 minutes. That's how you looked at it. Because you weren't at that point where you felt like this about another human being. But when you catch yourself feeling like there's something wrong, you feel like something's wrong with you because you've never felt like this before. And this is, and the reason I had a conversation because this is things that our people, we don't talk about stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? Because like I told you before, most men are taught to not to be emotionally available. You know what I'm saying? So then they don't know how to be emotionally available. And then most of the older dudes you around tell you the most dumbest things in the world are how to deal with women. You know what I'm saying? Most of them ain't got no healthy marriages in them. It's not very many black people that can say, I saw a healthy marriage for an extended period of time. For me to be able to model my relationships after this. It's a lot of dudes, I didn't grow up, my daddy wasn't around. So I may not even know how to be a father. Some black men are motivated on being a father based on their daddy wasn't there. So that was their motivation of, I will never be a daddy like mine. Because the numbers say you shouldn't be a good father if you didn't have one. The numbers say you shouldn't be a good husband if your daddy wasn't there. That's what the numbers say. So you're trying to go against the odds. The numbers say a woman will not be properly adjusted if her daddy wasn't present. The numbers say a woman whose daddy wasn't present, she's more likely to have a child out of wedlock. You know what I'm saying? That's why people have all the issues that we have with the head button between the men and the women, is because that we're not properly given the tools to be able to do certain things. We deal with a lot of stuff in our neighborhoods and communities and households to begin with. Imagine how you could be able to have a healthy relationship with the opposite sex and you watch your daddy beat your mom. You know what I'm saying? This is what you grew up watching. Or you grew up watching them argue 24/7. You saw this every day. You saw your mama disrespect your daddy or vice versa on a regular basis. How are you going to be able to transfer that to have a proper healthy, or you coming where people didn't talk, because black people don't talk about their feelings. That's why we have a problem dealing with that. Depression is real amongst our people because we don't talk about it. When somebody depressed, you just feel like you'll be all right, you'll get over it. You know what I'm saying? Till a nigga kill himself. Then you wondering why he killed himself. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that we don't talk about, we don't want to deal with it. In my honest opinion, I feel we don't want to talk about it and deal with it because it's going to force us to have to look at the stuff on the inside of us that we don't want to deal with. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to deal with whatever issue you got or whatever pain you feel. So you don't want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I can say for me, I just never wanted to make myself emotionally available to a woman because I didn't trust her. You know what I'm saying? I didn't trust any woman enough to say, you know what, I'm going to do that. That was just me though. And no woman did nothing to me. I didn't trust them. I just seen too many whores in my lifetime. I'm like, no, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? You have some women who are like that, who don't open themselves up to men because either they friends got did wrong or one man did them wrong, and then they won't make themselves emotionally available to another man. That's why people say, oh, I'm not your ex. They're not looking at it, they're not understanding where this person is at. It's somebody I know right now, this man hurt her, and she felt like this man would never hurt her, and he did, and that's got her in a bad place emotionally right now because of it. And it could take years, if ever, if she recovers from it. Because we don't take knowledge of what you do to another person, how can it affect them. We don't look, that's why I mentioned that about your children. Sound doctrine, and the example you set. You don't realize what you do, how can it can affect your children. That's why he say he cursed to the third and fourth generation. You wonder why we got so many bastard children? Because the generation that created them did it. You know what I'm saying? You want to run around here and sow your seed and make all these kids and not marry this woman and raise these children, or do the most ridiculous thing I never could understand. Get a woman pregnant, dip, and go start another family and take care of them children and neglect the one you had before them. That one I never understood. You know what I'm saying? You can still take care of the children you made before you got with this woman and made these children. You know it's not that hard. But that stuff has negative consequences, and it goes from generation to generation. You know what I'm saying? And we wonder, how can we break it? It comes with standing up for what's right, living right, and teaching your children the proper example to break that cycle. But if you don't want to break that cycle won't be broken. You know what I'm saying? If you want to stop the cycle of children being born out of wedlock in your family, be abstinent and don't have kids till you get married, and you can stop it. You know what I'm saying? You want to stop alcoholism in your family, don't drink. You want to stop drug abuse in your family, don't get high. If you want to stop the dependency on the system and working for somebody else in your family, be an entrepreneur. You want to stop the lack of education in your family, graduate high school and go to college and show that generation that this is what you can do if you apply yourself. That's how you stop it. You have to set the example. We can't just tell the kids don't do this and don't do that, and then we doing the opposite. They're not listening to what you're talking about. They're listening to what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, what did Mashiach we read in John 10? He said, if you don't believe me for my word's sake, what he said? Believe me for my work's sake then. If you won't believe me because I'm telling you, believe me because of what I'm showing you. And that's what we had to do to break it. Because that's what Mashiach would come to do, was to break the cycle of sin. That's what he would come to do, to break that curse, to break that generational curse.
He did the works no man did.
He got to break that curse. Now that he done broke that curse, now we all can be freed from it. But it came down to the desire of him wanting to break it. Wanting to set the example to do it. And that's what we got to do. Where we at? We finished the Deuteronomy 18? Come on back to 2 Kings 17. I mean, that's hard stuff to deal with when you go to dealing with emotions and thought processes and things of that nature. Black people don't like to talk about it. White people sit around and talk about it because they don't be caring. You know what I'm saying? They sit around, I hate my mom, I just want to kill her. Why do you want to kill her, Bobby?
Just make me pass.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all ever seen that episode of Dr. Phil when that little boy slapped their mom in the face?
You see how it feels.
You see how it feels? You see how it feels? Like she was talking to him. She was talking to him, right? She said something. He said, see how it feels? You don't like that, do you, Mom? She was like, but you can see on her face, like, nigga, if we wasn't on TV, I'd kill you in front of all these people. You seen it? You see how that white woman would look? I'm real though, that little white boy slapped the fire from Mom dudes, boy. I'm talking about little Tuck, and you can see that he was like, see how it feels?
He felt like he knew that was his only outlet to do it.
And he used it too. He took advantage. Like people might clown about Dr. Phil, but how he go about it, but he try to get the people on there to force them to talk about the stuff that they don't want to talk about.
To help other people.
At the same token, because just like Jay dropped in that song, you can't heal what you don't reveal. Our people can't be healed until you reveal the source and cause of your pain. Once you reveal the source and cause of your pain, then it can be healed. We don't want to do that because we had this image of I'm a strong black woman, so you don't want to show no weakness or none of that. Or because of how black men been did of being emasculated since the time you set foot over here, you feel like I can't show this man a weakness. Because that's how you raise. Don't show no vulnerability. Don't show no weakness. Because people will take advantage of it. You know, it's a lot of dudes, like I was telling little mother last night, I can honestly say, I ain't really think about my daddy not being there. I didn't have no pain from that. I can't explain to you why I didn't, but I ain't had no pain from that. But you got people, they got pain from their people not being there. And it spills over. It spills over. Some people got pain because they feel like their parents didn't love them. Some people got pain because they feel like their parents didn't believe in them. You know what I'm saying? It's many different factors until you put that stuff. And most of the time people don't put that stuff on the table because they feel like somebody going to judge them for it. Or laugh at them or mock them for it. So they keep that stuff to themselves. But then that stuff bubbles over and it festers over and it ruins any type of relationships that you try to have with other people. That's why some people can't be good friends. And that's why you have some niggas who are enablers. Because they'll see your negative behavior and encourage you to stay in it. Really what it is, man. 2 Kings 10. Where you start at? Oh, we got to finish 2 Corinthians 13. I think we did finish. We did read that reprobate part. My apologies. 2 Kings 10 and 16.
It says, and he said, come with me and see my zeal for Yahuwah. So they made him ride on his chariot. And when they came to Samaria, he slew all that remained to Ahab in Samaria. So he destroyed him according to the saying of Yahuwah which spake Elijah.
Yeah.
And Yahuwah gathered all the people together and said unto them,
what he told them?
Ahab served Baal a little.
He sold him a little bit.
But Yahuwah shall serve him much.
I'm going to serve him a lot. Y'all feel like he was lying when he told him that?
He lied.
So he told a lie. Go ahead.
Now therefore call unto me the prophets of Baal, all his servants.
All his servants.
And all his priests.
All their priests.
Let none be wanting.
Why?
For I have a great sacrifice to do to Baal.
I got a great one.
Whosoever shall be wanting, he shall not live. But Yahuwah did it in subtlety. To the intent that he might destroy the worshippers of Baal.
Give me Matthew 10 and what? 16. He said he did it what? Now I'm going to show you something though. Yahuwah wasn't harmless as a dove though. But guess what though? He wasn't supposed to be. He was supposed to execute judgment for Yahuwah. Get all of them out of here. Hey. In about 10 more minutes you can get off how you want.
Matthew
10 and 16.
It says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless.
Because what does the law say about the serpent? What was it?
Most
subtle beast in the field. So he used a little subtlety to take him down. Why do you think that Yahuwah had Yahuwah use a little bit of subtlety to take this person down? Why y'all think he did that? Give me 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 10. Let's show you why he used a little subtlety.
Saya and Abriel.
2 Thessalonians 2 and 10. In the trash.
In the garbage.
In the receptacle. 2 and 10. Let's see why y'all had Yahuwah use a little bit of subtlety.
It says, and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness.
All deceivableness of what?
Of unrighteousness.
Why would Ahab family be considered to be unrighteous? And what was those works?
Ahab, well, Jezebel was killing the prophets of Yahuwah. Ahab.
Why were they killing the prophets of Yahuwah?
Killing the prophets of Yahuwah because they was prophesying against.
They killed the prophets of Yahuwah because they were Baal worshippers. So they sinned. Their unrighteousness was the fact of they worship an idol god. He say get Baal's prophets, which take us back to Deuteronomy 18, which would make them diviners, which means they're an abomination and they gotta die. Come on, man.
And them that perish because they receive not the love of the truth.
So they didn't receive a love for the truth.
That they might be saved.
That they could be saved.
And for this cause Elohim shall send them a strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
So he sent Yehu to send them a strong delusion that they should believe a lie, just like the word say, right? Come on back to 2 Kings chapter 10. He just gave them what they wanted. They wanted a lie, he gave them a lie. He said, I'm going to serve him much. That's what he said, right? Children, you heard her. Y'all sit down. You heard what she told you to do, children. Children. Come on, man.
I'm in Matthew 10. Bet my heart.
Now, why he said to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. He had to be wise as a serpent to get these people in the place where y'all wanted them to be at to take them out.
We had 2 Kings 10 and verse 21. And you sent through all Yasharal.
No, sir. You are in verse 19. That's where you stopped at. You didn't stop at verse 20.
Well, I read it.
No, you didn't.
It said subtlety.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
That's where I was going to read.
No, you said 21.
Okay. It said, Yehu proclaimed a solemn assembly for Baal, and they proclaimed it. And Yehu sent through all Yasharal.
Now, what's the significance of a solemn assembly? What particular feasts are called solemn assemblies? Day of Atonement is called a solemn assembly. The last day of Tabernacles is called a solemn assembly. That last day of that is called a solemn assembly. He has proclaimed this day to be a high feast day to make sure that they would come. Go ahead.
It say, and all the worshippers of Baal came, that there was not a man that left that came not. And they came into the house of Baal, and the house of Baal was full from one end to the other. Oh, I didn't read it.
You didn't read the top of 21. You skipped right in the middle of the verse.
I had already started when you stopped.
No, we stopped at 20. You never got to 21.
It said, Yehu sent through all the Yasharal, and all the worshippers of Baal came, so that they were not a man left that came not. And they came into the house of Baal, and the house of Baal was full from one end to the other. And he said unto him that was over the vestry, bring forth vestments for all the worshippers of Baal. And
y'all know what vestments are?
Vestments.
Y'all know what vestments are?
Refreshments.
Not this nigga said refreshments. This nigga bring the refreshments.
Refreshments.
I'm a little parched. That word in this particular verse is malbush. Malbush. Y'all know, that's a part of context clues or deductive reasoning you could have used right here. What y'all think a vestment is?
I'll read it again. He said, vestures, bring forth vestments. For all the worshippers of Baal, he brought forth vestments.
Clothing. He told them to bring their clothing. Come over here. What's that verse they like to use in Zechariah? Hit that Zechariah. What is it? Chapter 1. Y'all know that verse them Hebrews like to use in Zechariah, don't you?
What they say?
Come forth all of you in strange apparel. Strange apparel. You got on some strange apparel. I'm trying to remember what that verse said.
Vestry. Bring the vestments.
Bring the vestments. You know what verse I'm talking about? It's not 1 or 2 though. I gotta find it. Strange apparel. Who like to wear strange apparel? Not them. Oh, I ain't got nothing to do with that.
They like to wear very strange.
They like that strange. See that strange? Better leave that strange alone. That's Zephaniah. My apologies. Zephaniah 1 and 5.
Zephaniah chapter 1. Like 8.
1 and 5.
It says, and them that worship the host of Shamaim upon the housetops, and them that worship and swear by Yehu, that swear by Malcham, and them that are turned back from Yehu, and those that have not sought Yehu, and no inquired of him. Hold thy shalom at the presence of Yehu Elohim, for the day of Yehu is at hand, for Yehu hath prepared a sacrifice. He hath bid his guests.
He made a what?
He made a sacrifice.
And he done bid who?
His guests.
What else he done did?
And it shall come to pass in the day of Yahuwah's sacrifice that he will punish the princes and the king's children and all such that are clothed with strange apparel.
Now how y'all, you know what them niggas say strange apparel is in these days and times?
Clothes we wearing now.
Clothes we wearing now. Them niggas say, see, you ain't no Hebrew. But listen to what he told them right here. He said the day of Yahuwah is at hand. He prepared a sacrifice and bid his guests. Are we not seeing the day of Yahuwah at hand over here in 2 Kings chapter 10 and he bid the sacrifice and got his guests there? Now where can we relate that to something else? Because we can relate that to something else. I don't know. You tell me, sir.
What was the question?
Look, how can we relate the 2 Kings chapter 10 and the Zephaniah chapter 1 with these people being prepared for a sacrifice? He done did some guests and he told them go get the vestments because all these niggas got on strange apparel.
No, Master gave a parable about the wedding.
Maybe?
He gave a parable about the wedding, about the garments. He said,
Huh?
Start with the virgins.
That's what Stanley said. But those weren't people who were bid to a sacrifice, with those people being bid to be the sacrifice. Because the people he's saying he bidding are the people he finna kill in Zephaniah. The people who were bid in the house of Baal in 2 Kings chapter 10, they're the sacrifice. They the ones got on the strange clothes. Because the women in Matthew 10, they didn't have any oil in their lamp, so they weren't there when the husbandmen came back. See, you think about that Matthew 22 when he said, why you ain't got no wedding garment on. Do you know what I'm saying? Tossing. But we talking about, read that Zephaniah 1 and 5 again. Matter of fact, make it verse 4.
It says, I will also stretch out my hand upon Yehuda and upon all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will cut off the remnant of Baal.
He'll cut off the remnant of what?
Of Baal from this.
What is he about to do in 2 Kings chapter 10? The remnant of Baal. Go ahead.
And the name of the Chemarims with the priest.
With the who?
The priest.
And who better get killed in 2 Kings chapter 10? Come on.
And them that worship the host of Shawaim upon the housetops, and them that worship and swear by the name of Yahuwah, and that swear by Malcolm.
So I got to kill them that's confused, just double-minded. Come on.
It says, and them that are turned back from Yahuwah, and those that have not sought Yahuwah.
Don't you think everybody in that house of Baal had them turned back from Yahuwah nor was seeking him? They were seeking Baal. Come on.
It said, hold thy shalom at the presence of Yahuwah.
He said, keep your mouth closed when you see Yahuwah. What else he say?
For the day of Yahuwah is at hand.
The day of Yahuwah is the day of his vengeance. What else he say?
For Yahuwah have prepared a sacrifice, and he has.
You don't think them people in that house of Baal is a sacrifice? Them the guests of Yahuwah. He said, I invited you here. It was my desire for you to come and sit down here. Come on.
It said, it shall come to pass that in the day you will sacrifice, that I will punish the princes of the king's children.
And the king, had not Yahuwah just done that? Go ahead.
And all such that are clothed in strange.
And you see that Yahuwah made it his business that these people put on vestments or put on clothing or strange apparel. So where can we relate this at in another place? In Revelation when he come back. Because all these people will be Baal worshipers because they serving the beast. Give me Revelation 19. 19 and 17. So when we see the massacre, you remember what Yahuwah's name means? Yahuwah judges. What is Hamashiach coming to do at his return? Give me Psalm 99 first. Psalm 99 and 1. Give me Psalm 99. I still got a few minutes.
I got that.
Psalm 99 and 1. Just need a blue letter Bible app on your phone. Yeah, that's all we're gonna do.
Psalm 99.
Psalm 99 and 1.
It says, Yahuwah reigneth, that the people tremble.
Let the people what?
Tremble.
Go ahead.
He that sitteth between the cherubs.
Sit between what?
The cherubs.
So what is he sitting on if he's sitting between the cherubs? Mercy seat. We were just talking about that Saturday too in Ezekiel chapter 10, but we'll get to that another day. Go ahead.
It says, let the earth be moved.
Let it be what?
Moved.
What does the book say the earth gonna do when the master come back? We'll wheel to and fro like a drunkard. Come on.
It says, Yahuwah is great in Zion, and he is high above all the people.
Go ahead.
Let them praise thy great and terrible name, for it is Kadah.
It is what?
It is Kadah.
Go ahead.
And the king's strength also loves judgment.
The king's what?
Strength.
What's the king's strength? What is the king's strength? What does the book tell you is a man's strength? His offspring, his firstborn. Listen to what he telling now. Read it again.
The king's strength also loves judgment.
The king's strength love. How can strength love judgment? He ain't talking about strength. What did Yahushua say in John chapter 5? All judgment has been given unto the Son. Because the book tell you that Yahuwah is an Elohim of judgment. Yah loves to judge. And he judges righteously in every matter. That's why people kill me. God said don't judge. No, he didn't. He said judge not lest you be judged. Don't be judging and you can get judged right back, you stupid bastard you. The book say a spiritual man judges all things and is judged by no man. Elohim love to judge. And judging it ain't necessarily pointing out that somebody is doing something wrong. There's an example of this in Luke chapter 7 when the woman was washing the master's feet and he talked to Peter and he said two people had a debt. And he forgave one who owed little, and he forgave one who owed much. He said, which one will love their master the most? Peter said the one who was forgiven much. He told Peter, you have judged right. Judgment is about discerning right from wrong. And that doesn't always mean pointing out somebody's sin. It's discerning right from wrong. And that's why people be messing up, because they not judging or discerning things according to the word. They judging it according to their own vain opinion and emotional feelings. That's where the problem come in at. If you say you love Yahushua, then you should love judgment too, because his father loves judgment. Which goes back to the example that the father set and the son set that example unto us. That's why he told you what? Don't judge according to what? Appearance. What did he tell you to do? Judge righteous judgment. When he was telling them, was he talking about sin in that instance? He was talking about him healing somebody. He said, y'all want to say I'm not a God because I'm healing somebody on the Sabbath day. He wasn't jumping up and saying, you're a sinner. That's not what he was talking about. You got to know how to judge. You got to know how to discern. That's why people get themselves caught up in bad situations, because they're not judging properly. If you judge by the word, you will be right 100 times out of 100. You will be right 100. You will never lose if you judge according to the word. And you know what people start telling you? Oh, you think you know everything. You always right. No, Yah's always right. See, I lean on him. I don't lean on me. That's the difference. I'm not right. Yah's right. If you judge according to the word, you will always be correct, because what did we read in Isaiah 48? I am Yahuwah who teacheth you things to profit. I teach righteousness and things that are right. If you judge according to the word, you will always be correct, because you'll be doing the things that please Yah. If you judge according to how you feel, you will always be wrong. And you'll always lose. You may not always be wrong if you judge according to your own judgment, but in the end you're going to lose. I think some people don't like to judge according to the word because you don't want people to tell you that you think you know everything or you always got to be right, because people always want you to judge according to how you feel versus this book. People deep down inside know they can't speak against this book. Go ahead.
It says, the king's strength also loved the judgment. Thou dost establish iniquity and execute his judgment.
He execute what?
Judgment.
Ain't that what Yahuwah finna get ready to do? Ain't that something that he would anoint a man whose name means Yahuwah judge, and that's all he sent Yahuwah around to do? Would to execute judgment. Go ahead.
And righteousness in your code.
Yes, sir.
Exalt Yahuwah your Elohim and worship at his footstool, for he is Kadash. Moses and Aaron among...
That's good. Come on to Revelation 19. He said he gonna strike through the nations with good judgment. It's funny how we don't like to judge, but then you say you feel good when somebody tell you on your job or your parents tell you you exercise good judgment on that. When it's discerning right from wrong. That's what judgment is. It's knowing right from wrong. That's why I told y'all, that's why you need to tell your kids early the reality of the world that they're going to face. So they can early, because you're not going to be with them all the time. And it seems like the youth are getting more retarded as each day passes by. So they're going to encounter things that you may not have encountered when you were 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. And they got to be prepared for it, because you're not going to be with them 24/7, 365. And if you don't properly prepare them for them to be able to judge correctly, they're probably going to follow after their friends or their peer group or whoever they're around. So you got to prepare them early. You can't wait. You know what I'm saying? And it's a case-by-case basis, because you have to take the level of maturity and intellect of your child at a particular age on what you lay on them. But you can't hesitate. You got to shoot it to them. Because I know when you look at them, you see your baby. But they're not going to be babies forever. See right there, that nigga there grown older. See, she ain't staying baby forever. Go ahead. Water. You just got you something.
Water?
Yeah.
No, I'm not thirsty.
I can't tell. I wasn't parched. I wasn't thirsty. Why you got that thing on like you one of the white women in New York City? Tossing your little scarf around your neck. Auction who on? Shit. They put you on the auction block there to send you back.
It said Revelation 19 and 17.
They said we gotta get you at a discount.
And I saw Malachi standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of Shamayim,
What he told?
come and gather yourselves together to the supper of the great Elohim,
Go and come and get your son to eat, baby.
that ye may eat the flesh of the kings,
Flesh of who?
the kings,
Go what
the
else?
flesh of the captains,
And who else?
the flesh of the mighty men,
Uh-huh.
the flesh of horses and
Uh-huh.
of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond.
Now because we get short on time, right? You know all these kings gathered up to fight Mashiach. But all these people also been worshiping Baal. Remember what Joel tell you, he gonna gather them all together to fight in the valley of what? Jehoshaphat. So he gonna gather all these Baal worshipers, all their priests, the kings and all their children, and he's gonna slaughter them for his great sacrifice in the day of Yahuwah. Come on back to 2 Kings chapter. It's amazing where you see a lot of the things that were done will be prophesied in the end, even though this stuff really happened. But it's a foreshadowing nevertheless. 2 Kings chapter 10, man. We have verse 23.
It said Yehu went and Yehonadab the son of Rechab into the house of Baal and said unto the worshipers.
This is why he went and got Yehonadab when he asked him, is your heart with my heart and is your heart right? Because you ain't going to spare no sinner if your heart ain't right. Because who do we know spared the sinner and heart wasn't right in this story that we've been reading about? It was a particular king supposed to kill the sinner and he didn't do it. Y'all know who that is? That was Ahab. And that same man he didn't kill is going to end up taking out his people. Go ahead. Well, his offspring anyway.
It says, search and look that there be here with you none of the servants of Yahuwah, but the worshipers of Baal.
You know what this is, right? That's Revelation chapter 18. Come out from among them and be ye separate, so the wrath of Yahuwah don't fall on your head. Because you just seen this man say, make sure none of my people are in here. Because that goes back to what he told Abraham. He's not going to kill the righteous with the wicked. Come on.
It says, and when they went in to offer sacrifices and burnt offerings, Yahuwah appointed 80 men without.
That's 80 men.
And said, if any of the men whom I have brought into your hands escape, he let him go, and his life shall be.
Ain't that what he told Ahab about letting Benadad go? He said, I appointed that man to death, so therefore I'm going to kill you. And see, that's the part of the game that niggas don't like. Because he said, I want all these niggas dead. And if you let one of them get up out of here, I'm going to kill you. Who else did that? Who lost his life for not killing somebody that y'all told him to kill? No.
He lost his life because he was killed someone.
Yeah, that's one thing got him in trouble. He ended up dying for it. Saul. Who was he supposed to kill?
People from the war.
He was supposed to kill the king of the Amalekites, Agag. And he didn't kill him. And Samuel ended up killing him. Because he said, I appointed this man to death. And what did Agag say? He said, surely the fear of death is past. He said, nah, nigga, you still dying. And Samuel hewed him to pieces. When y'all appoint somebody, that's why the law say, if you catch your wife, your son, your daughter, worshiping another God, he said, you supposed to have been the first one to stone. And because you didn't want to take them out, then because you didn't want to take their life, y'all will take yours, because this person is appointed to death. So now in the new covenant, you looking at expose the unfruitful works of darkness and reprove them. Don't be a partaker with them. You know what I'm saying? That's what we were dealing with. Like I said, most of the time people remove themselves. But the book say, if you're a fornicator, you're supposed to put them out. Like they not supposed to be able to come into the assembly, you're supposed to put them out. Saying idolater, you're supposed to put them out. And a lot of people wouldn't want to hear that or deal with the book say, get rid of them. Because they'd be like, you can't kick nobody out. But y'all can go through the book where y'all were kicking people out left and right. But the difference when he was kicking them out, he was killing them. When that man was picking up sticks on the Sabbath, he just didn't say, "Oh, go outside the camp." He said, "Stone him." Come on, man.
The library will close in 30 minutes at 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock.
Those needing a ride home, please call.
Anybody need a ride home? I know you need a ride home. You look like you Fred Flintstone over here.
At 5:55 p.m.
I see your feet
The
bulging
library
through
will
them
close
shit.
promptly.
Throbbing. Like this. Go ahead, man.
It said it came to pass as soon as he had made an end of offering and burnt offerings that Yehu said to the guard and to the captains, "Go in and slay them, let none come forth." And they smote them with the edge of the sword, and the guard of the captains cast them out and went to the city of the house of Baal. And they brought forth the images out of the house of Baal and burned
And did what?
and break down the images of Baal and break down the house of Baal and made it a draught house unto this day.
Hold on, let's see what it means to make it a drought house.
The outhouse.
Poop house? Let's make it a poop house.
So people like started using it.
The word right there is a place of going out from. Goings forth. Also a sea. A place of refuse. And that's how you're supposed to look at every idolatry place of worship. When we went to that little thing the other day, I was shocked. They didn't have any idols in there.
What thing?
When we went to that Florida majority thing, they didn't have no idols in that church.
Oh, what you into?
Mount Sinai Sun on Silver Street.
Oh.
They didn't have not one idol in them. They had some on the outside, but not on the inside. They just had banners. They were nice looking banners too. Go ahead.
Draw house. It said Yehu destroyed Baal out of Yahshua.
And that's what Yahushua gonna do at his return. He gonna destroy Baal. Remember what he said in Hosea? You will no longer call me Baali, but Ishi. He gonna remove that God from out your mouth. Come on.
It says, "Howbeit from the sins of Jeroboam the sons of Nebat who made Yahshua to sin, Yehu departed not after them. To wit, the golden calves."
Now ain't that something? Yehu did all of this work. Slayed Ahab, slayed the Baal worshippers, and turned around and did it himself. And turned around and did it himself.
That reminds me of some jokes like dirty police. You know what I'm saying? You trying to get all the drug dealers off the street, man.
And selling dope yourself.
Yeah, you want to be the only one plugged in.
Ain't that something? Now, how many of y'all would expect it from what all Yehu did that he would turn around and do that?
Knowing his people. I would.
Yeah, come on.
I feel like both feel a lot.
Guess what?
I feel like the dude who went and told the message, but then sat and ate at the house and got mauled by the lion. He just lied and he got killed on.
Well, he's just like he said. Shall you sit at the table of the master and the table of devils? He's not the only one, because there's other people you're going to read that Yah led them to victory and them niggas turned and worshiped the gods of the people they destroyed. Because you know what that's showing? That even if you keep every instruction that Yah has, it don't mean you believe and trust in him.
That's what he has to do.
Yeah. And to a certain extent, Jehoshaphat too, by fooling with sinners. Hezekiah did it a little bit too, we just ain't got to him. It show you what people fake, because you wouldn't think, boy, if you done son and kill all these Baal worshipers, you actually are executing what happens to an idolater, and you turn around and cleave the Jeroboam son of Nebat. Come on.
It says, "He departed not after them, to wit, the golden calves were in Bethel, and that were in Dan."
Look what he said.
Yehu said to Yehu, "Because thou hast not done well, because thou hast done well and executed that which is right in my eyes, and hast done according to the house of Ahab." I'm sorry. That has done unto the house of Ahab according to all that was in my heart. Thy children of the fourth generation shall sit on the throne.
So he rewarded him for his children to sit on the throne. But guess what he say after that?
It says, but Yehu took no heed to walk in the law of Yehu.
This man say, I'm going to set your sons on the throne. He still didn't want to walk
When he
in.
departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, which made Yasharah to sin.
Give me Proverbs 4:23. That's horrible. You know how horrible that is? And remember now, I think what, Yehu from the tribe of Yehuda, that's horrible. Proverbs 4:23. And this is why this is important it's bigger than just keeping the law. Go ahead.
It says, keep thy heart with all diligence.
Keep your heart with what?
Of all diligence.
Why?
For out of it are the issues of life.
What come out your mind is where the issues of life come from. Everybody loves to quote that Proverbs, right? Life and death are in the power of the tongue and all that there. Because mainly the words that you speak are indicative of what's in your heart, which is going to be indicative of what your actions are going to be. So he said, guard your heart because the issues of life proceed out of your mind. That's why the master says it's not that what goes into a man, it's what defiles him. That's why you hear some people who like especially hardline Christians and whatnot, they'll be like, you shouldn't watch these type of movies or listen to this type of music because of what it can do to your brain. We do be real big about what you put in your body, but we don't be real big about what you put in your brain. Some people are stronger than, like I said, right? I listen to Pop, Scarface, all type of hustler music, and never was moved to sell drugs or want to do none of that as a teenager. Some of my peers were them. You know what I'm saying? I remember my homeboy heard JT Money pimping on wax, and that nigga wanted to be a pimp. Nigga ain't never been a pimp day for in his life. Nigga ain't never had no women talking about being no pimp. But you couldn't tell him he wasn't no pimp. Not when that album came out. Y'all know what album I'm talking about? That's a little bit for your time.
It's the back of the car.
Huh?
That
Yeah, that's some player type stuff, you know what I'm talking about? But this album came out in like 98, 99. You know what I'm saying? It was a hard record, don't get me wrong. And they made it worse around that time American Pimp came out, so he really wanted to be a pimp. And Pimps Up and Hoes Down came out, and he was like, you couldn't tell him he wasn't no pimp. Old lady throwing bigs through his windshield, no, but you couldn't tell him he wasn't no pimp. Nigga got one woman talking about he a pimp. She ain't get him not a Russian nickel, but he a pimp though.
His name is
For real. Yeah, I got another one I said Judge. Ain't that something though? That music have influence. Hey, it's a lot of people influenced by music and by television. You have to judge that case by case basis with yourself. Come on, man. Children, what are you doing? I don't even know I don't even want to know what you're doing. Come on, man. Finish that bit proverb.
It says, put away from thee the forward mouth.
Remember that. Get that perverse speech. Get that disobedient, rebellious speech out your mouth. Come on.
And put it far from thee.
Get it away from you.
Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee.
Go ahead.
Ponder the paths of thy feet.
Think about the way you're going.
And let all thy ways be established.
And let it be established in the word.
Turn not to the right hand or to the left. And remove thy foot from evil.
Keep yourself from doing evil. Come on to 2 Kings chapter 10 so we get up. Hey, children, the noise, you got to take the noise that way. Yeah, I see, Muffin. You got to go that way. Finish that 2 Kings 10 so we can get out of here.
All right.
We in verse 32.
It says, in those days, Yahuwah began to cut Yasharah short. And Hazael smote them in all the coast of Yasharah.
Yeah.
From Jordan eastward, all the land of Gilead, and the Gadites, and the Reubenites, and the Manassites, from Aror, which is by the river Arnon, even Gilead and Bashan.
Mm-hmm.
It says, now the rest of the acts of Yahuwah and all that he did in his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicle of the kings of Yasharah? And Yahuwah slept with his father, and they buried him in Samaria, and Jehoahaz his son reigned in his stead. And the time that Yahuwah reigned over Yasharah in Samaria was 20 years.
Okay, so he was a king of Yasharah. So it was only a network he was gonna buck.
Yeah,
so praise Yah for Yahushua in the word.